Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Anime Alliance podcast. Sorry that we've been a little inactive for a while. You can pretty much fully blame me for that, but we're here now, here to talk about another season of anime, spring 2017. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so this is also like the biggest seasonal podcast we've had on this channel yet, so that's cool. So with me today, obviously, you got me, Misty, like always. I know you're tired of me, but whatever. All right, we've also got.
Hey there, I'm AK.
Hi, I'm Willis.
Hey guys, it's me, Nick. I'm back again.
Hello, I'm Riri. I was here before, but now you see me again. Hello.
Yay! Okay.
Ah,
So, I guess we'll kick things off with what some would probably call a bit of a banger then. Something that started last season, but what finally ended, so even though I haven't finished it, I'm not going to be part of this, but...
I mean, I have to say, I'm really sad we didn't talk about it last season. Like, the three of us mutually agreed we're just like, crap, we didn't get to talk about the show. And now we finally get to bring up Little Witch Academia. Thank
We
God.
also couldn't talk about Sangatsu no Lion, which fucking sucked.
I'm less broken up about that than Little Witch.
Fair enough. But yeah, Little Witch Academia. Why don't you guys take it away?
Alrighty,
Who wants
so
to start?
Who starts or?
Okay, so I guess I'll start with Little Witch Academia because honestly, I think until My Hero Academia finishes, this is my show of the season and maybe the year so far.
alrighty.
So, yeah, I mean, I think with Little Witch at least, I mean, it's Trigger again doing another Trigger original. So like I came in with like really good expectations, and honestly, I like that Trigger art style with Little Witch. I liked the soundtrack. Akko is still my girl. Like, I will still cheer for her. She's like still my underdog girl that like makes me want to get up and pick up pom poms to start cheering. I will say, like, it's not like this show doesn't have its problems. It has its faults. But I just can't help but overlook them because I love Trigger and I love these characters so much.
Yeah. I guess this isn't something that aired before. I'm not talking about this season of Little Witch Academia, but previously to that, they had the movies.
There's the
So I guess-
2011 short.
Oh yes, thank you. So I guess my question would be, did you prefer the series or did you prefer the movies and the short?
Series. The movies were great, but the thing with the series is you get to see a very well developed story with those characters. Like with Akko, you get a little bit of her story. You get a basic gist of her story with the shorts. With this show, you get Lotte's story, you get Amanda's story, you get Diana, you get everybody. The Shiny Chariot thing is expanded on. Like, you get everything, and I love this so much more because the thing with that is like Akko's a great character, but the side cast aren't bad in their own right in some respects. Like, I mean, sure, like there's the tech girl who doesn't get much development. She gets like one episode, and the food girl doesn't even get an episode. But I mean, I couldn't help but love like some of the other ones. Like, I love Amanda. Amanda's awesome. She's hilarious. And that one episode with her and Amanda when they go to the boys' school, I was fucking losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same
I
here.
guess-
Same here. Little Witch's greatest charm would be outside characters.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. I want to ask because I think Willis, you're the only other person who finished the show.
Yes.
I had a discussion with some people earlier about how when the sort of the plot of Little Witch, kind of like the first like half of the show is kind of about the girls and they're doing stuff and like there's like school stuff going on, but like there's not really much of a central plot except for there's like central themes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The first.
But like
half
the
of-
second part when they introduce that antagonist, Kwa, I really, honest to God, think that like I had a conversation with people who were telling me that they didn't like that. And I thought that was like a really great idea because it changed the dynamic of the show. So like for the first half, if you had just been 25 episodes of them doing like entire seasonal stuff, could have got boring. But the fact they switched it up and went for like an antagonist, even if Qua wasn't really the best antagonist, like her she wasn't really that great of a villain at points. I still think that changing that dynamic kept the show interesting.
I would definitely agree with you on the fact that it was better afterwards, because Little Witch is certainly a fun, whimsical adventure, just filled with shenanigans. But having stakes is always fun, and Little Witch, you can't really have huge stakes with Little Witch. You can't have huge stakes with other things. So having the Q villain was actually awesome, because it provided a struggle that was really that was nice. It's like there's consequences, but it's not. Oh, it's end of the world and we're all gonna die. It's believable with Little Witch standards.
Yeah, and I mean, because Little Witch always gets bagged on for being like anime Harry Potter. Harry Potter never fought a friggin' missile, so chalk that up, J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
I will say that I think one of my most favorite episodes. Now, keep in mind, I haven't seen the whole thing. I got up to episode 19, and I have it on hold right now. I do plan on finishing it, but I will say one of my most favorite episodes of this season was the one with, Lada, or Lottie, and...
Her family?
Yeah. Or no, it was more
girl?
of the... It was the one where she wanted to get her favorite book series signed.
Oh!
Yeah.
The magic pen!
Uh-huh. I just thought that was so cute and pure. And, I haven't seen many series that have done that in a long time, just with, having a character really wanting their book signed. And, it's just something so simple and so cute. And I really appreciated the fact that they incorporated that.
And I mean, we can all relate to Latte there, or Latte, or whatever, how to say that. Like, we can all relate to that.
The fangirling
Yes.
was adorable.
I mean, I might fangirl too, but it'd be a little bit less acceptable. Still, I will say, I mean, like, here's the thing with that. I saw some people give Little Witch some flack for, like, people saying it had, like, not the best animation. Like, I remember I was on an online forum and I saw that screenshot from, what's that episode? There's the episode where, like, I think it's like it's around like the first half of the show where Akko falls into like a hole. And if you remember this, you remember what I'm talking about, where there's one cap where her eyes are in like 3 different places because she just like fell so fast. And I had somebody like basically pull that out and like be like, oh yeah, Trigger like screwing up the animation, getting lazy. And I was like, no, if you look at it, each pair of eyes was differently drawn. It was like they did this purposely like cartoonish action for Little Witch, which I actually really liked. I think that suits the show. Like, just like you were talking about, you can't have stakes. Dramatic.
That you need to keep in mind when watching Little Witch Academia, this is for anyone who is considering watching it, is that not only is it a cute high school-ish series, which to be honest, I don't really think it takes that much time on the high school aspect of it. It's more like just them as girls and their magical lives in general, because they're witches, obviously. But, like I was saying, one thing that you have to keep in mind when watching this show is that there's all these different little crazy elements in it, especially like you said with the eyes earlier. I guess one of the good examples would be Susie, her character, and how like a lot of crazy things happen with her and the characters around her. And usually when she's super involved in those episodes, you're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? But that's part of its charm, you know?
It is. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to live in her brain, ever, but, like, you know, it was great. I will say, the one thing that had me, like, rolling my eyes a little bit is the fact that all the conflict, even though Kwa was doing that thing with emotions, the entire conflict was started by a Maradona-esque Hand of God goal in what I'm assuming was the international tournament. Between, I'm assuming, like, Little Witch is, like, I think, because I'm pretty sure Little Witch is set in, like, a fictional England based on, like, the outlines of that map we saw.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I agree with that.
And so, like, I'm assuming, like, a fictional England and, like, a fictional France, like, Maradona-esque Hand of God, and that starts a war. I was just kind of a little, like, I know Europeans love soccer, but this might be a tad of an exaggeration.
I mean, it's kind of obvious that they were... Like, in the beginning, people were saying, oh, this is the Harry Potter of anime. I honestly feel like sometimes it's poking fun at it. Like what you said. that it looks like it's in England or something similar. But it's such a crazy show, and I almost feel like the relationship with Diana and Akko is very well done, and it's obvious who they're trying to, at least to me, who they're trying to suggest those from Harry Potter. And I think that series didn't handle maybe the relationships as well. So I guess in that aspect, it can kind of go serious either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will never ship. I don't seriously will ever ship Draco and Harry and Harry Potter, but I'll ship Diana and Akko. They were cute together.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say with the eye thing, I would definitely agree with you. In terms of animation, it's animation and characters are like pure spunk. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like pure spunkiness. So
I also like that leaf sequence. I'm sorry, Willis.
Go on.
I would say that leaf sequence in episode 9 after the director. I think it was the episode where the director's dad shows up. I remember, and there's like that remembrance sequence, and then there's like the leaves blow up in the air. I don't think that was episode 9. I forget what episode it was, but then the leaves blow up into the air, and it's just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's the one where Andrew first showed up, right?
No.
Oh yeah.
No. Andrew showed up in the episode. Like there's an episode where he shows up, and they go on an adventure, and there's a bear, and Akko turns them into animals.
Bunny Akko was adorable.
That was so
Bunny Akko's
cute.
the best.
Like, it was so much pure fluff. Like, I was dying. Like, I'd never seen anything that cute in a while.
Yeah.
But I love it so much. Anyways, we got to move on. But
yeah.
Honestly, I think we already have my show of the season right there.
There's one thing I want to add about like the animation part. So it's directed by Yo Yoshinari, and this guy has been at Gainax forever, even before Evangelion, and because he hasn't directed anything before Little Witch Academia, he just doesn't get the credit he deserves. Like, the guy has animated so many like incredible sequences in like other Gainax shows, like Evangelion or Gurren Lagann, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
he did part of Fooly Cooly too.
Mm-hmm. And seeing what kind of stuff he does now, like in Little Witch Academia, the explosions in the show, like you can see it has his personal touches. Even as director, he goes and corrects things and like adds his own kind of flair to it. It's really understated how much work he has put into this. Like it's evident that like it's his passion project and shit.
From what I've heard on videos in the studio, it's more of his personal choice to have it that way than it is anything else.
Hmm.
All right. There we go.
Podcast over. Best show already found.
All right, yeah. That's it then. Goodbye, everyone. No,
Oh my god.
I guess we'll move on to
We love Rise!
next thing.
Holy fuck.
Stuff that actually aired this season. And yes, as Willis said, we love Rise.
Yes.
You watched that one, right?
Oh yes, I did.
Why don't you start us off then?
It was.
What did you think of that?
It was sporadic, weird. I was never quite sure what was going on. It's kind of like a Fooly Cooly, but a lot more rice and in a high school. And it's just, you don't know exactly what's going on.
That is a weird thing to say, but okay.
I did not expect a Fooly Cooly comparison in this show.
I did not.
I mean, you don't know half the things that are going on with, like, oh, the car's ahead for some reason, and what's a harvest show, and there's like these things, like, why, it's like, yeah.
Can we just talk about the fact that their school is around farming rice?
yes, the rice.
It's like the specialized version of the high school from Silver Spoon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It gets a lot of shit for being weird, but it has like really funny gags.
Yeah. I loved all the gags and stuff. I just love the strangeness because it's short enough that it doesn't bother. It's short enough that it doesn't affect the plot because there isn't really much of a plot to begin with. But all the gags keep it fascinating. It's just craziness.
Just like there was this one in the early episodes where the main character kind of joins this group, but they're a cross-dressing group. and it felt like this was the direction the anime was gonna take, because they even made like a kind of music video for that episode. But then like they just drop it entirely, and that is the joke.
Oh my god.
It's
Yes.
a really great gag for some reason. I don't. And the anime has like a bunch of other things like this where it just kind of plays around with itself.
Like the guy in the background that just randomly says stuff.
Oh, dude.
Oh my god.
He's voiced by the voice actor who plays Gintoki, and he is legit my
Right.
favorite part of this show because he just kind of shows up out of nowhere, and he just
Okay,
does
that's
shit.
perfect.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that was Gintoki's voice actor.
Of course. it
Dude's
was
name is
Gintoki,
Chinko.
Of course.
Which is
Of
dick.
course.
But yeah, it's an okay
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. I'd say it was a nice, short, fun, crazy ride.
Did you
Nothing
give it a
special,
1 though?
but- I did give it a 1, but I mean, but I gave it a 1 from a critical perspective, not from enjoyment perspective.
All
I
right.
just love how excited you were about this going in, and now I learned you gave it a 1.
Well,
Yeah, no, I'm like, what the hell?
Oh my god.
As a show, I enjoyed it quite a bit, but as far as enjoyment-wise, it was awesome. But everything else was just nothing was connected, and it was just all over the place.
But that's the point. But okay.
It's alright.
All right, what about this next one? You watch this one as well.
Oh,
What's the
yes.
Annie
Oh, yeah.
Tsukeru.
Yep, yeah, the one with the
Whatever
with
the hell.
the brother and sister, like the Chinese-sounding names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you think?
that one was good. It had an actual story. I like the story is nice. The story is
So-
nice, and the characters were interesting.
Okay, so explain this anime to me because I didn't see it and I've been told to feel really bad for not watching it.
It's like a semi-passive manipulative brother, and then there's like a aggressive emotional older sister, and it's like them doing some high school stuff and like emotions. Like at one point, the sister she gets a crush on somebody before the end of it, and that's a plot point. But it's mostly just them going through like their lives with a very short period of their lives, and just everything. And the brother he's kind of planning on things and manipulative, but the sister is super athletic, so he's usually on the receiving end of something.
So, Ane ni Tsukeru Kusuri wa Nai is basically the brother and sister, and a lot of the gags revolve around the sister beating the brother, but it's like it's introduced in a way that you totally get it because the brother is like a dick kinda, and the sister is like tired of his shit. So whenever she beats him up, it feels nice kinda. Like you start laughing because you don't really feel that bad for the brother, but he is still a very likable character because he's silly and goofy and shit.
Oh yeah, they all are.
And also the times when they do like get along, it feels like very brother sisterly. Like the show gets it.
Yeah,
It's nice to see a show get it and not be like, oh, brother sister, but for some reason there's a love interest potentially, and it's like, no, please don't, just don't.
Yeah.
And
Like
also
another show that happened later this year.
Hey.
The visuals of the show, they aren't the usual kind of animation. I'm not really sure how to put it, but it is like, it feels very like fresh. It does feel different, and that is also one of the sound points of this.
Yeah, I would say the soundtrack and the animation, I both like those a lot, because the opening was pretty entertaining, and the animation it fits a show of this type of theme. It's just kind of, there's people living their lives, it's not anything overly detailed, it's just telling a story.
All right.
No.
Well. Nope.
Oh my god. Alright.
Riri says no.
Oh.
We don't want to talk about
No.
this next one.
Alright, no. I'll do it. Okay, so.
All right, Riri. Tell us about Roommate.
Oh my god. Okay, so this, would you say it's a continuation of One Room, or is it just like a version for females? Or,
It's just a version for females.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're necessarily related.
okay, so basically, like One Room, this is just a show with 3 guys, and you are the girl, and she shows up to this house, and she has to live with these 3 other guys. They never really explained why she was there, did they?
She was taking over her mom's job as the manager of the apartments.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I would, like, well, we've already talked about that it does do better than One Room with the
But
interaction
we
between
we
characters.
haven't talked about it in a podcast.
Shh. With the interaction between characters.
That's my mainly the one thing I want to say about it personally is like it feels more like an actual anime than One Room did, because One Room was all just point of view, one-on-one, the you as the guy character and this other girl.
Mhm.
So all you ever got was just this one-sided conversation. Whereas with Roommate, while I don't think it's actually much better in the big scheme of things, it feels way less, well, I don't want to say way less creepy, because it was still creepy.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it feels more natural. It doesn't feel as awkward, because you're seeing these other guys interact with each other, not just the point of view character. So it just feels nicer to watch, I guess, minus the fact that I like the eye candy from the other one better, but that's a little bit of a
It's
different
okay.
story.
I mean, the glasses guy's really good looking.
No.
No,
He's
dude,
the
he is the
creepiest.
He is
creepiest.
the creepiest one. But
He's
you know,
gonna rape you, dude.
I was convinced because Riri, you kept telling us about a theory you had that somebody was going to turn out to be a serial killer, and I was
swear.
hoping that would happen so much.
I was okay. So yeah, throughout the series, it was in the beginning that it was just weird. Like I don't know how to. Like the first encounter was weird in itself for each of them, but my theory at the beginning was just kind of more of a wish of that the 3 guys would end up killing her. But then I realized that they weren't as creepy as she was, in my opinion. Like, because she, like, first off, I believe it was, the part where the guy, he was climbing the roof or something, and then didn't she start climbing after him? I'm like,
She did?
What are you doing? I swear to God that happened. Or I'm just thinking it. Anyways, so that didn't happen. But I guess one other point that I noticed about it was that kind of got annoying after a while was the ending sequences where their clothes disappeared. And at first it was fine, but then it just got freaking annoying. I was like, okay, please stop. This is just painful.
I mean, we all know we wanted it to not stop. Come on.
And also one
We just
other
want to see it happen all the time.
Oh my god.
I want that to be like if I had a GIF phone background, I would love that to be it.
I mean, none of them really appeal to me personally, just because I picked things out of them that was just too weird for me. Like the glasses guy, I think his name was Shina. He was like the 25-year-old business guy, and he just like, I don't know, he wanted to like, get your ass every 5 seconds. And then Aoi, he was like the underage high school student.
actor, dude.
Yeah. And he was okay. Like, I thought he was the most normal out of all of them. And then Tsukami, he was like the guy that would climb rocks and go on the roof. Like, what? So, none of them really, I don't know. That was just my take on it.
You know what they need to do? They've done One Room with girls. They've done Roommate with guys. You should make one where you're just someone petting cats next.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
Yes.
That'd be better.
Just 4 minutes of just looking at a cute cat. I'd be down for that.
That'd be much
Ah.
better.
I don't know, make a cat girls and I'd be game, but
I mean, that's just gonna be creepy.
That's gonna be
again.
creepy. Yeah.
That
No, you can have a different pet every week. 1 week it's a cat, 1 week it's a dog. There's a guinea pig 1 week. Like, change it up.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
And see, that's the one that'll have the dark twist, because the last episode is someone that has, like, a chained-up human in there.
Oh my!
Oh my
What if
god.
like, someone is just petting the hamster and then the hamster eats them whole and that's the end?
Oh my god.
Oh,
10 out of 10 still.
Or they
11.
find out their rabbit was the killer bunny from Monty Python.
Oh my god.
oh my!
Alright, I think it's enough time for roommate.
One thing,
Right.
So,
one thing I
let's
want to
move
say
on
about this
to-
though is
Oh.
the ending. Like, they said things about like going away for some time, but then like the anime cuts to them coming back, and they haven't changed at all. So it's like, how long were you gone? It just that
Yeah,
ending was
that was
crazy.
sort of just like a weird, like, ended up being kind of pointless.
hmm
Like the actor dude is still wearing like his usual clothes. Like
Glasses dude is wearing no shirt.
Like
Yes.
usual. With a towel.
and what a
Oh my
perfect
God.
ending.
Alright. Alright, so let us move on to Atome the Beginning.
Can I start with this one or?
Sure.
I feel like Adam. Yeah, I feel like Adam is an old school anime. It's getting back to the old school because the animation is simpler. It's simpler, and the story it's a slice of life, kind of not slice of life, but slice of life. That it's something like a slice of life.
It is very much a slice of life for. At
You
least
guys
the
said
parts
slice
I've
of life like about 6 times. So it must be the
Slice of
most
life?
sliciest of slices of life.
Yeah, them doing science things mostly, and the them butting heads doing science things. The two creators.
And also, they just do the usual school things like participate in a school festival, or, like
Uh,
get jobs and shit.
Yeah, and then there's that. And then there's the larger like menacing plot thing, which is kind of. I think that's an interesting point. It's a larger menace plot.
It probably gets to that kind of thing in the later half.
I mean,
Yeah,
are you guys gonna bring up the Astro Boy thing? Because like I don't know how many if either of you are big Astro Boy fans, because this is like a prequel to Astro Boy, right? I'm assuming.
Yes, it is. Yeah, from what I've heard, it is. I've never seen Astro Boy, but I know of it.
Yeah, so I'll get to that point. So, it is a prequel to Astro Boy, and that is like the main appeal of this show, cause in Astro Boy, the two main characters in Adam the Beginning, they like go their separate ways and shit, cause things happen and like if you've seen Astro Boy, you totally get it. And the interesting part about Adam the Beginning is seeing them being friends and like building the robot together. It brings this new level of like understanding to their character. Like you feel like they are more human than they were in like Astro Boy. And also like it's just seeing the development of the system of the AI, how it evolves and like how it will eventually start like getting feelings and learning and shit. Cause Astro Boy just kind of starts off things have happened. The doctor's kid died, and so he created this robot. It's really sudden, but with this, you care more.
Yeah. I definitely say I find the characters pretty charming. They're interesting. The way they all interact with us is they're complete opposites. I enjoy that quite a bit.
Like one believes you should treat robots like you treat humans, and like he names them and shit. But the other one is just like, no, just give them numbers and shit, cause they're just fucking robots. Who cares? And like seeing how that will eventually evolve into the other dude just being like, yeah, fuck robots. They can't ever be humans. And the other one being like, no, humans like robots can have feelings too. It's interesting seeing how these two people used to be friends. But yeah.
All right. Was that all you had to say about that one? Or?
Yeah. I like the opening. And I like the opening and endings quite a bit as well.
I do. The opening's
Okay.
fucking great.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
All right.
Oh,
Well, I'm sorry, Riri. I'm sorry.
okay.
We gotta come back to you for Saitama's day off.
All right.
Or I don't even want to try to say its name, so I'm just calling it that.
We'll just link them down in this description for you. But we
Yeah,
call
they'll be out. They'll be out. They'll be there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
So, this one in particular, I was introduced it by someone else. And my impression of it, because I went into it blind, I thought it was going to be just an innocent romance between a monk and a normal girl. No. It's not even close to that. Basically, she was in love with him since high school, and then she meets him after drinking at a bar, and now he's a Shinto monk, and some R-rated stuff happens. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Oh my.
You're selling it so well, though. Like, you're making people want to watch this now.
Yeah. I am curious because it's like that sort of thing is with Japan is not uncommon. There's a lot of like stories and stuff like that. So I'd be curious how they made it anime different.
Okay, keep in mind it's 3 minutes per episode, so they don't have a lot of dialogue. Most of it's like borderline hentai kind of stuff, and that's for like 3 minutes, so they can cram some dialogue in there, but it's mostly gonna just be lewd stuff. Now, I can't say anything past episode 3 because that's as far as I got, but the concept is interesting if you can get past that.
I mean, here's the thing. I watched the first episode and the first episode only, and I watched it uncensored because if you're gonna watch this, that's the only way to watch it. And you say it was borderline. I'm wondering if you watched the censored version because the uncensored was, that was like the beginning of it. That was the beginning of a hentai.
I was really, honestly, I think it would have just been better as a hentai, to be honest.
Yeah.
But whatever.
That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to Kenka, Banchou, Otome.
Oh,
Girl Beats Boys.
yes. This one, I know Nick also watched it, and I didn't personally feel it had a really strong start, but as I watched it, I realized how much I loved the characters. Now, keep in mind that it still was pretty... At least some of them kind of felt bland to me, but maybe that was because each episode was pretty short. Like, if you take away the opening and the ending, it was 8 minutes per episode, so that's pretty short. But...
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I understand why it has to be short, though, and I don't want to interrupt you too much, but I will counter that, is because I read the manga for this before I watched
really?
it. I had no idea that this was becoming an anime. And I didn't even know, actually, till most way through the season that this was an anime. But it's only an 8-chapter manga, so it's not a long manga.
Okay, that makes sense. But, yeah, I think her name's Hanako, and she's the main character, and she takes her place of her brother. Does it... refresh my memory of why she's...
He's from a Yakuza family. He doesn't want to be part of a Yakuza family, so he decides he'd rather cross-dress and go to her school.
Okay.
Which is okay, because he's actually an incredibly convincing trap. So...
And she does a pretty good job herself, to be honest. She's not Harugi from Ouran High School Host Club, but she can carry herself.
I mean, you might argue she does a little bit better than Haruhi from Host Club, because her school's a little bit more insane than Ouran.
Like, there were some parts of it that were, like, really, gangster-ish. Like, especially the school itself. Like, the one guy, I was like, oh, God. But, the ending was kind of... It was alright. I was happy with it. You know?
I didn't see the ending yet. I haven't finished this yet. But
Alright,
I
I
do
won't
like
say
the
anything.
show. Also, when you said the one guy was gangsterish, which one is it? It's like the maroon hair guy? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, I love him. He's my favorite.
Yeah, he's great.
Which one is that? The older brother?
No, not the older brother. The guy's name is
Onigashi.
Onigashima?
Yep, there you go.
Onigashima.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He's like
that's
the
the older
best.
brother, right?
Oh, no. Well, yeah, I guess it is the... You're right, it is the older one. Yeah, what am I saying? Like,
Frick.
I think her twin brother was older, too, so that's what I thought you meant when you said older.
How did I forget? Oh god.
So, this is probably my third favorite anime this season because holy shit, it does so many things I fucking love. Like, the opening segments all like intersplice scenes from the actual anime and then they just show the fire background. But the way it builds hype for the episode, it just feels so right. And then the fight scenes, like, so in the first episode, from the fight scene between the main character and the dude with the headband, you can immediately tell that the way she fights is using like pinpoint counters and shit. From the scene where the green-haired guy with the headphones, what's his name? Komparu? Yeah. The way he fights is judo, basically. He grabs and he throws. Like, and the anime doesn't have to tell you that. You can see it for yourself. Like, there are things that you can notice because the fight scenes are so solid. The choreography in them, and it's...
And they're, like, designed with a thought. Like, they have fighting styles in mind. Like, they've thought this through.
That's an interesting point you bring up because, you know, with a lot of anime, especially Yuri on Ice, there's a lot of parts when they do the sports that I've noticed that the animation or the quality dies down. But they did those fight scenes very fluidly, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, they don't have any, like, incredible effects animation or, like, parts where the body distorts, but it's really solid. And also, like, like, the characters aren't anything really special, but I still find them cool and shit.
Yeah.
The one voiced by Hosoya, what's his name? Rintaro. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, none of them really stood out to me, like you said, in characters. Except the main one, but even her, I felt, was kind of... I don't know how to explain it. Like, I couldn't get personally attached to them. I was more attached to the story.
Like, the characters are serviceable, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're all attached to the traps, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
But,
Alright.
yeah, no, I will say, this was, like, this short really surprised me. Anyways, we should...
Alright. Hey, another one I can actually talk about. Yay. Let's move on to Fukumenkei Noise. Alright. So this one I want to start because as much as I didn't think the anime was great. I liked it. It was fine. It did some good stuff. I was really salty at the beginning of the season about this anime, seeing people's reactions to it, people going like dropping it right away, going, "Oh my god, her singing is so cringe." I'm like, it made me so mad because, and I knew it was gonna happen when I saw it. I knew it was gonna happen because it just made me realize how much that, like, on the internet we've come to this point where you can't just do something like free-spirited, silly like that anymore and like expect people to like get it or be okay with it. People are like, they cringe at that kind of stuff now, and it's like the la-las were cute. They were just fun, and like she was just singing without a care, and I liked that a lot. I liked the feeling of the anime had in the beginning. I mean, obviously it was going to be a drama, and I knew that, but I just that kind of aspect of the anime really sold me in the beginning, and I was really excited for more of it. But it strayed away from the love triangle thing for a while, but eventually it did sort of
Go back to it.
cave and get into the love triangle territory, which still it managed to be okay. Usually with love triangles, I'm both frustrated and just kind of like, I don't know. It's when this anime at least, like, it felt as if there was a guy that was obviously like the one that was just kind of the better guy, even if it's not the one she wanted to be with. So I wasn't quite as frustrated with it because they in my opinion, they played the other guy to be kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any sort of confliction. I'm like, fuck this dude. He's just, sure, deep down it's like, deep down it's like, blah, blah, but he's still kind of an asshole. So,
I mean, like,
I
to
don't
me, that love triangle is the selling point of this show. It's done, like, to me, it's so interesting. Like, the way, what are their names?
I actually don't know their name.
Are you talking about Sakaki or Yuzuriya?
Oh yeah.
I
So
just use last names.
So Yuzu, the interesting about him is like the way he can never get the girl he wants. The only way that he can like try and make her happy is basically to push her towards the other guy she likes. And so
I know that broke me.
yeah, if it really hurts. And also, Momo, like because of his like dark like troubled past, he has a hard time expressing like feelings and shit. He can't properly say he likes Nino, and so the only way he knows to try and show he cares is by basically hurting her. This love triangle is so toxic and like, and it's also like the cause of like a lot of their like fulfilling feelings in the show, like the band. Like you can see she feels happy when she sings sometimes, like near the end, and at the same time, it's also like they go through a lot of shit. Yuzu is just like, fuck, I can never get this girl, but he still tries. Momo is just like, yeah, I gotta go away now, cause this time I'm gonna say goodbye, cause fuck, I don't want to feel these things anymore. And poor Nino, she's just, part of me thinks she actually has like this mental issues and shit, like, like dependence or something.
You're correct that like this toxic love triangle like sort of fuels the music and the band, like all that, like that whole part of the story, like, you know, trying to reach out to Momo is what drives Nino to, like, you know, continue singing and continue performing and
develop as an artist.
You know, without that, you know, she just is unmotivated. So Yuzu still has to push her that way, even though he obviously doesn't want to. So
without that, she just sings la 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 on the beach.
That does give it a relatively unique, even if probably not something that would save it for a lot of people that really dislike love triangles. It does give it a unique touch, especially when you're considering how it does tie into the music, which I did like a lot. It was cool, like when she has her like berserk moments and stuff. That's so fucking cool. Those are my favorite parts of the show, when she's like going wild and singing and stuff. And that's the main reason I would love to see more of this show, because the rest of the story is fine in its own right. It's those moments where they're performing and, you know, she's doing all that and stuff, and like there's that conflict while she's singing. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's just so good. The show did really good with it, and it made the last episode great because like that was like all of the first half of it or whatever, and I was so into it when I was watching that. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm having so much fun with this.
Like, to people who want to try this show, if the part in the first episode where she screams inside her head, "Someone stop me," doesn't give you chills, then just like you're probably not gonna like this anime as much. But yeah, that moment, like it totally sold me on the show. And also, like, one thing I really liked was near the end, where the song she made for Yuzu just suddenly became a song for Momo. It was the part where I felt really bad for Yuzu. Like, it was the final blow, and I was like, okay, yeah, poor guy. He's always gonna be in this spot, is he? Fuck. But yeah.
Aww.
I thought it was a nice show. It is still a lot of drama, and you know, I don't think it's gonna be anything like the people who aren't into drama or aren't into like the love triangles and high school like bullshit stuff like that. I don't think this is gonna impress any of those people. It doesn't do anything too special in that regard, but it was a fun watch. I had a good time with it. Yep. Did anyone else watch it, or was it just me and...
I only watched the first few episodes, and then I dropped it. And it wasn't because of the singing. It was because I could tell already that... Yeah. The love... No. I don't... It's just, I've already been hurt by that kind of love triangle thing from Orange, and I just can't do it again.
I think you'd like it more than Orange, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I don't think you'd be like amazed by it.
Yeah.
So it's really up to you whether you're okay going into it, accepting it's just gonna be like kind of nice.
I might pick it up eventually, but it's probably, like you said, not gonna be amazing or anything. But it's alright.
Hey, it was more Saori Hayami for me, so I was happy. Getting to actually hear her sing with like not just this very nice like
it wasn't the
pristine voice.
It's not the kind of voice she does in like the Shirayuki openings and shit. It is very rough.
That was really great. I love the shit out of that. All right, so that's enough of that one, and we're on to Oushitsu Kyoshi Haine. What show?
Royal Tutor.
Oh, Royal Tutor.
And I love this show so much. When I first saw this on the seasonals that were coming out, I was like, oh god, here we go. It's gonna be Fujoshi Central. But it wasn't. The first episode, you get in, and it's about this little guy. He's a full-grown man, but he's coming to be the personal tutor of the king's sons, who are the princes who are in line to be the next king. And it's it's very fluffy. There's a lot of cute and humorous moments to the show, but then you start getting more into the princes' personalities and how much more they are as characters in the show. And that part was interesting, but what interested me the most was Haine, who is the main character. He's the tutor, and his story was very interesting, and I think it was a very good way to end the show with that arc in particular, just because I think a lot of people weren't really expecting it to go that route, because the show had been so not serious for a while, and also from the fact that they just really didn't want you knowing anything about him for like most of the show.
I guess I went into it expecting like this kind of thing, like a kind of assassination classroom kind of thing, where they would eventually tell the main characters backstory and shit. So, but yeah, I do like things in the show, like the moments where Haine goes all chibi. It looks really fucking cute.
Roll. That's so cute.
And then Kai is just moe as fuck.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of people liked him.
Because he's just misunderstood, poor guy. And I really like...
I mean, Kai looks really intimidating. I didn't watch this show, but like, is he like one of those like really intimidating, but he's just like actually just a cinnamon roll?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey. So yeah, and also the colors for like this show, the color palette it has, I still don't know what the word is for like those colors, but I really like it.
I guess the other thing I like about the show was how much they have like a German influence on it. Like some of the names are actually like ridiculous to pronounce, but I can appreciate it.
I'm pretty sure it's like set in Germany, kinda.
Let me look at these names. I haven't really looked at this anime very much. I know a lot of. Wow. Okay. They're all Vaughn something. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, and they're all brothers?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, so I guess the best way for me to summarize it is it's a ton of boys doing cute things, and at the end they learn stuff about their teacher, and it's just a good feel anime.
Like, I don't like this as much as Ryu does, but it's pretty okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm biased, so it's okay.
Alright, well, let's move on from that on to Berserk 2017. Which I'm curious, because the way you reacted to this is a lot more positive than I would have expected from normal people, because it seems like most people are very negative on the new Berserk stuff.
I feel like part of that is because a lot of the animation, which I mean, yes, it's CGI, it's not pretty. But the thing is, anime can get pretty expensive to make, and it's Berserk, so it's more Berserk. It tells the story. I feel like that's one of the bigger reasons people rag on it. Like, oh, grab it, like, yes, but it's Berserk. Just get over it. Ajin had CGI, but it was fine.
See, Willis is like one of the only few people I know who likes the new Berserk series, and I kind of respect him for that, cause like it's a hard series to come to like. I've been like dealing with this issue ever since the PV for the 2016 one came out. Like I do want to like it just because it's more Berserk, but the way it handles things, it just doesn't feel right to me. Like adapting one of the most beautiful mangas ever into like what this is, this feels wrong.
Here's the thing, though. But like, no matter how you adapt it, though, like don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this makes this adaptation good, but I'm saying like, no matter how you adapt Berserk, or if you were to do one for Vagabond or whatever,
It's
it
impossible.
will never
Yeah.
live up. It will never be good enough.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's never gonna be as good.
Yeah.
It just can't. Especially in like the way anime is done now, they just can't properly convey what the manga feels like with the kind of colors they use nowadays, or even like the art style. But yeah, even just like specific scenes, the way they did it, it just took away any kind of impact they had. One of the most famous scenes in Berserk is where Guts is walking along on a beach, and he picks up Shirike's hat and gives it to her. Like people love that one panel in the manga just because it conveys how much it feels like Guts has been through. But the way it was done in the anime, it was just like it felt like something that was just kind of glossed over. Like, okay, yeah, he gives some little girl her hat back. Let's move on.
Yeah. It's new Berserk. I really like the Guts' struggle a lot. I just really got his struggle in general, and I just felt like they captured it really well. Like him versus essentially Destiny. I liked how he captured that. It was with the whole with the Berserker armor. I loved the Berserker armor edition. It's not just a matter of physical survival; it's mental survival too. And he's already pretty much a giant ball of rage, controlled cool rage.
Yeah, I do get why people like some people could like this, because as Willis said, it is Berserk. It does have like all the plot points and like narrative elements to them. I just really don't think it's handled well at all.
Yeah, I just feel like many series don't take things this dark, nearly as dark. In Berserk, it goes to rape and murder, and like it's a Sunday walk or something. It does this on a normal basis. Whereas most shows don't nearly get this dark, which is one of the reasons I like it. It just it lets loose with the lets loose with the fear and just all the darkness.
You liked the 2016 one as well, right?
Yes, that was actually the first Berserk I saw. And it looked cool. I'm like, oh, what's
Oh,
this?
really?
I didn't know what Berserk was at the time. I'd never read the manga. I'm like, oh, this looks neat. I'm like, hey, that's cool. And then I found out it's like, oh, okay. Then
Are they standalone enough to be watched without the original?
I guess, yeah. I mean,
I was gonna say I wouldn't think so, but
If Willis did it, I'm sure anyone else can do it. But yeah.
okay.
as far as telling the story, it tells the story because it doesn't go into details of the past, but it does tell a good story, regardless.
Fair enough.
Because I mean, like, I'd imagine you probably would have wanted to see the 1997 one, or at least like maybe the movies or something to catch you up on like the Golden Age, or what? It's the Golden Age arc, right? That's the name of the arc.
Yes, I have seen the movies. I have seen the movies. I watched the movies after 2016. I did watch those after that. I'm not planning on watching the original just because I've already experienced the story and I want to keep on moving with new anime.
Dude,
No.
what the fuck?
Watch the original. Watch the original. I'm just telling you right now.
I don't know. I've got Gintama. That's like.
I really want to see Willis interact with like some of the really big Berserk fans that are like the most passionate about hating this stuff. I just want to see a conversation between him and someone.
Yeah, no, I feel like we should have had a disclaimer before he said that the Berserk was good. Be like, as this is his jumping on point. Because I know there are other Berserk fans in the club that would be like, hell no.
I guess one thing I would add was that I started with Berserk, like the old one, the super old one, with like the bad graphics and everything, which that's not that bad, but I guess compared to now, it's quite behind. But in my opinion, part of Berserk's charm is that older animation style, so it's kind of hard for me, maybe some other people as well, to like some of the CGI parts. So that might be one reason why I can't enjoy it as much as the original season.
I think when it comes to general opinion, it's that Berserk's, a lot of Berserk comes from the signature style that it had before, as well as just the fact that people in general are just very negative on CGI anime regardless.
Yes, very.
So I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem with the Berserk's only problem isn't just the CGI, it's also the directing and shit. There's a lot wrong in that.
I guess I've never noticed that really. I've never noticed that. It's the only thing I really noticed with the Berserk is the CGI, but I don't really care much about that. I'm like, oh, okay. So.
Well, let's go from one CGI anime to another and talk about.
Let's go from one CGI anime to another anime that did CGI so much better. Just gonna say it.
It did.
Fight me, Willis. I'm just gonna say.
I can't comment. I never saw Seikaisuru Kado.
So, see the thing about it with this one is, I don't think its CG was that bad. Although there are people that disagree. I think there are people that say no, but they probably are the people that would say no to almost any CGI. But the thing with this show is that it was like 95% CGI. And then every once in a while, they just throw in this really quick, like, 3-second part of the same scene where it's hand-drawn. And I don't really understand why they didn't just go full CGI.
Yeah.
Why they decided to throw in these very, very random bits of hand-drawn animation. Like, it was more jarring than anything, suddenly going to this other style.
And then you're like what?
For a brief second, and then you go back.
Yeah. I didn't like it that much either, but to be fair, there's a lot about this show that I was very middling about. Has anybody else completed this?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Nope.
You guys can start then, I guess.
I guess for me, the beginning there's something about the beginning that just hooked me in. Maybe it was, like they didn't really, unless you had seen because they had came out with, some kind of an OVA, but it wasn't like an official episode part of the series, where it showed them actually like how they got stuck in the cube thing. or whatever. So yeah, I was okay with it, and then slowly as I started watching it more, it was fine. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I was just gonna watch it because I was okay with watching it. But then it just got to this point where it was like, the fuck? This is even the same series, you know?
Yeah. Wait. Before you say that, I think I have a very contrary opinion to a lot of people about this show. I agree with a lot of people in the sense that I thought it was meh, but I wanted the dramatic shift change, and I saw another review on Mal that was kind of similar in like perceptions of the show going in, from what I thought. So when I started watching the show and the alien shows up, I thought this was going to be like, you guys ever seen that movie, The Arrival, Nicole Kidman movie, or like some of the other big Hollywood alien interaction movies?
Okay.
Okay, well, it's like, it kind of gave off that similar feeling to like these Hollywood First Contact movies, where it's like everything is fine, but like you can slowly feel the tension building, and as the episodes are going through, they kind of hint more and more, like, is this really the right answer? Like, can we trust him? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the other shoe is going to drop, and I kept calling it. From like episode 3 onwards, I'm like, the other shoe is going to drop, and I want to see it happen. But I do think the way they handled it, like with the romance between two characters, and that certain character coming out as also being an alien,
Oh, that was so
and
forced.
all that,
I mean,
it was so forced. You're absolutely right. It was
Yaha
way
just
too
really, he was just really Andre Furtado, to be fair. Just, that's how I can describe it.
I mean, like, I just didn't like the way that, like, they made Kado, like, out to be, like, okay, I felt like it diminished sort of, like, what Kado was supposed to be as this, from humanity's perspective, almost omnipotent alien, when he's all, like, whining about how humanity doesn't want to like, come to his universe or whatever, and he's, like, whining about, like, Shindo and whatever. That just diminished the effect of him as an antagonist, because essentially that's what he was supposed to be, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And that just diminished it so much. So it was like, he didn't really serve as a great antagonist. He didn't serve as a great, like, friend, mixed up dark emotions character either. Like, it just
Like I
didn't work
said,
either way.
Yandere. That's how I would, like, even at the beginning, he had this really weird, like, obsession with him from the beginning that I noticed. But I didn't think it would go that 1 to 100 that quickly.
I mean, you were kind of hoping it'd be like a ship, right? Like, I was kind of hoping that Saraka would never be found out to be an alien, and they would actually turn out to be gay, and it'd be like, yes.
I mean, like, they didn't really even need to, like, they really wouldn't even need to kiss, to be honest. Like, there's I just felt more, it would be more natural with them and not, the girl, because I just don't know. They barely interacted.
They did. You know what I do want to say, though, is, like, I think the build-up before the other shoe dropped took too long, too. That's one of the problems I had with the show, is that it took way too long for, because like, everything kicked off in episode 10, which is why I think for a lot of people, it's like this weird dramatic show change at the end of the show, and that will anger a lot of people. I kind of want it to happen, but I think it should have happened earlier, so that way people had a better idea of sort of like, you didn't wait till 10 episodes and all of a sudden everything changes.
Because there's all
after 10 episodes you start settling into like maybe this is a slice of life, or like more like not a villain based show.
Because you have like two characters there, like let me smash to Shindo, and you know he's just kind of like, okay, whatever. And then the series, well, did you even understand the ending? Because I was confused.
Okay, I kind of get it, but also I think it's so stupid that I was mad.
She just comes out of fucking
I get
nowhere.
the point. Is like they said that the device could like change relative time. And did you see how Hanamori had wrinkles on the last like 5 minutes of the show?
Like, what?
Because he raised their daughter in an alternate dimension, which was like fucking Hanamori gets the short end of the stick every goddamn time because he had to raise their daughter in an alternate dimension while like they were doing shit.
I mean, it came so fast. I didn't even have time to feel bad for him. You know?
Yeah, I was like mad. I'm like, this is stupid. Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, that ending just pisses me off. It feels like a Deus Ex Machina. Really bad.
A little bit, yeah. I didn't have a ton of problems with the ending, but mostly just because I didn't care all that much at that point. I'm just sort of like, once you find out what's her face is a anisotropic being, or however the hell you say it, once that happened, I'm just sort of like, oh, okay, I know, kind of figure where this is going now, so I'll just enjoy the ride, I guess, whatever, because there's like 3 episodes left at that point.
You said I'll kind of figure where this is going. You don't tell me you figured they'd have a kid in an alternate dimension.
No, I didn't necessarily figure that, but like, there's a lot of, I understood what was probably like the general idea of what was going to end up happening as time went on. Like, the thing is, this is not a terribly original story, all things considered. Maybe there's original elements to it, but like, I've seen very similar stories before. You know, it's, and no, I didn't predict the kid thing. That surprised me a little bit. I didn't hate that, but like, I also thought it was a little weird. Like, I don't know why they thought that, like, how they were so confident that this was gonna just work as they wanted it to, since, like, you know, there's never been a human, like, anisotropic being hybrid before.
Also, I love how
So
the kid just looks like a normal human. Like,
yeah, it's just, there was a lot that they basically just left out of the explanation of the ending. That's mostly why I didn't like it. If they had more time to dive into the details of this plan and how it all worked and stuff, then maybe I'd be a little more on board with it. But like, it's sort of just like, it's just one of those like sci-fi, just sort of like, okay, I guess this is how it is, I'll accept it kind of endings. So basically a Deus Ex Machina, like you're kind of saying, yeah.
The kind of ending it had, like, to me, it totally made a bunch of characters meaningless. Like, they were just plot devices. Like the scientist girl, she was just kind of there doing wacky shit, and then that's it. They're also like Shindo's coworkers.
well, yeah, Hanamori is basically a 5-year-old in the body of a 30-year-old man. He is. He cries. He complains. He wants beer and chocolate. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Do you know a lot of 5-year-olds that ask for beer?
Well, I mean, if they could drink, they'd probably ask for it.
Give me the beer,
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Like, his character basically amounted to nothing except for just being a tool to raise the kid in the end. And yeah, he was. I don't understand how he got the job he got with the way he is.
Yeah,
like, that makes no sense. How are you some kind of like negotiator when you're this whiny little child in a man's body?
There's one scene I want to give credit to though, and that's the one where they moved the cube.
Oh yeah.
Like, to me, that whole episode was fucking incredible. The build up, which was basically just like police officers and like people with the authority going around and telling citizens, oh yeah, we're gonna move the cube, so like clear out space. So something about like how mundane that sounds, yet it's this giant cube moving. It feels incredible to me. It feels real.
And like watching it move, and like that end part where it finally plops itself down in the lake, it looked beautiful.
Mm-hmm. That whole scene.
It certainly gave you a even more of a sense of scale of the cube.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is huge. This thing is like 2 kilometers up in the sky and like all around and stuff. It's like, that's a fucking monster, like, spaceship, dog. Like,
Yeah.
Alright, well, I guess we'll call that one. Where the hell in the list are we?
Alice.
Find this anime.
We're in Alice now.
Oh, Alice, there we go. We're not even halfway through this. I was like, we gotta be nearing the end at this point, but no, we're not even halfway through this.
No.
Alright, yeah, so I guess we're on to Alice to Zouroku, which was easily my favorite at the start. I fucking loved the first episode of this anime.
You loved the first episode?
I adored the first episode of this
Okay.
anime. I had so much fun with it. It was great. But it very no, I don't want to say quickly, but just it gradually deteriorated from that point until it hit this weird wall of like, okay, we're done with this story. Let's do this one now. Like this only slightly. They abandoned everything that almost everything that they set up before, and took it a completely different direction, which was not a bad direction to take it. It was just a little, just not. It was just surprising that they decided to do what they did with it, and kind of made me lose some interest. So I was mostly just along for the ride because I like the characters.
Plot threads are generally like the whole part of a show are like condensed into like 3 episodes in this show. Like the part with the organization that takes in all the kids with Alice's, is that the power? Or
I think it
dreams.
is something like that. I can't remember. It's not whatever it's called. Powers.
There was that part, and then that just got resolved in halfway through the show, and then became something else completely, and then became something else completely. It's just part of me likes that show just because of that, because it's never just one thing. It always managed to like keep me entertained and surprised, and in ways that stayed consistent with the kind of message you wanted to tell.
Fair enough. Although, I do sort of wish that if it was going to stick with one, I wish that it sort of built into the story that it ended with from the beginning. Because as much as I didn't hate where it started, it was pretty generic of a story in the beginning. Like, this whole facility containing people with these special powers. One of them escapes. They gotta go get them using the other people's powers and stuff to try to... Like, it's not a story that, like... Yeah, I mean, it's been done before. Or at least similar things.
Misty, and I haven't seen the rest of the show, but I think, like, I just want to say, for that first episode, I think the reason they introduced it the way they did is partly because they expected you to see it that way. Like, they expected you to be like, yeah, we've seen this story a million times, so we don't really need to fill in all the gaps for you, because you've seen this plenty of times before, and you already kind of get the gist.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Like, I know, like, that's just how it felt to me. That's why I got off the boat so quick, is because I felt like it was just taking that, like, lazy route. Like, you've seen this before. We don't really need to, like, we don't need to, like, dot our I's and cross our T's here, because you'll do that for us.
That's probably fair. You know, I maybe looking back on it, maybe that if I watched it again, I would realize this, but, I mean, like I said, it didn't take long. I mean, I still liked it, but I acknowledged that, like, you know, it was not a terribly special story in that regard. I was mainly in it for, you know, her name's not Alice. What is her name?
Sana.
Sane? Sana is the daughter, or the granddaughter. Sana, I adored her character. She's still one of my favorite characters from the season. She's fucking cute, and just sweet little girl. And, I thought it was gonna be a little bit more like one of those, like, father-child, or, you know, parent-child, father-daughter sort of anime, and it kind of has that, but I like those a lot, and it didn't do that as much as I would have liked, because I like the cranky old man, and I like the cute little girl.
Sana and Zouroku are definitely the selling point of the show. Just, the way they interacted in the first few episodes, like, totally sold me on them being able to live together. And then Sana could do shit on her own, especially in the last half, where she just to me becomes her own character. Like,
yeah,
Zouroku doesn't need to be there to sell the show. She can do it on her own. She can be the main character, affect people in the way she wants. She can at least try to affect people the way she wants to. And also just, like, how much of a kid she feels like. Like, there are parts where she just kind of shows off her drawings or gets mad, and it really feels like she's a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really do make her feel like an actual kid. Like, it's the areas where she's immature, just very, very perfectly childlike, and I was that made me very happy because I like kids quite a lot. Yeah.
And also that part where she tries to convince the witch girl near the end. The way she talks, it really feels like she is a kid. She tries to find words, she stutters, she like goes back like every few sentences, and eventually she conveys her point with a lot of heart.
The scene where she's really like angry and crying about the girl like having like paralyzed everyone. But like she's still active and she's still seeing all this and stuff, like man, that scene that hit me a little bit. That was like, oh man,
It was great.
That fucking like, and that scene is a really good example as to why I wish that storyline had been majority of the show, because I think that was a lot more interesting and unique than the first half.
Yeah. The first half has a lot of problems. Which granted, the second half does too, but like, it feels like once you get past the first half, you can appreciate the show more, a lot more.
Yeah, it's tough for me to really like define how I feel about the show, because I enjoyed my time with it. I did, but it's hard for me to have much appreciation for the anime when it's so all over the place with its story.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
It makes
all over the place.
It makes it hard to appreciate the anime for anything other than just the characters I like.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, I like them a lot, so I appreciate that a lot. But everything else about it's sort of just like, okay, it was just a vehicle for me to see and kind of enjoy these characters. And also the fucking like product placement in like 2 or 3 episodes as well was like really annoying.
Listen, we want to talk product placement. There are worse examples this season than Alice to Zouroku.
I mean, sure.
There is
a
worse example. So.
Which one are you thinking of? Final Fantasy 15?
No, actually, I'm not.
Okay.
Although that probably
Which
is
one do you
worse
think?
too. Never. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Oh, it's in this. Well, okay. But yeah, just that sort of soured me on the whole thing as well, because yeah.
But yeah, moving on.
Yeah. All right. So let's now talk about Sakura Quest. Oh, okay, cool. Sakura Quest.
Sakura Quest.
Do you want to start this one, Willis?
Sure. I felt like it was a good, chill slice of life. I feel like it's a good, chill slice of life. That's the main appeal of it. It's nothing too fast. Just people. It's nothing. It's not terribly fast. It's very simple.
Yeah. So, to me, this anime is totally fucking underrated at this point, because it's compared to Shirobako way too much. Like, I get that people like that show a lot, and I do too, but they tend to ignore things that this show does well. Like, the main cast of 5 in this show are way more, like, memorable than whoever it was, the main cast in Shirobako. Like, just even design-wise, you'd have like someone like Sanae, the girl with the glasses. She looks way more memorable than like any of the Shirobako girls. And then we go into her personality, and then the gap just increases. Cause they have a lot to them.
All of the 5 of the girls, it took a while to really like for them to kind of dig into each of their characters. I still don't think they've done it quite completely yet, although it's a 2 course, so there's still plenty of time for that. But I like the chemistry they all have. I think that they're all fairly different people, but the reason that they're coming together as they are makes sense. And frankly, it's nice to see a group like this that isn't just middle or high school girls. As much as I do like those kind of anime, you know. And granted, Shirobako is like that as well. I'm pretty sure they're all adults in that too. But yeah, this is a very different anime than something like Shirobako. This is, at least for me, it's something more along the lines of just a nice, calm slice of life, almost like cute adult girls doing cute adult things, and I'm totally okay with that. I think we need more of that kind of stuff.
I would agree with the characters being interesting. I definitely agree with them being interesting.
And
Because
also,
they're all fairly unique, and I like how they flesh out the personal struggles a lot. They flesh those out.
there are two scenes that like totally sold me on this show. That was one where Sanae was like, I took these off from work, came back, and realized nothing changed. No one needed me. It's just it's an obvious thing to realize, but at the same time, it's just like if it hurts. And then there was the other scene where they finished filming the movie, and then they were just kind of drinking, eating, and the way Maki spoke, it was all like quiet and kind of like relaxed. It totally felt like, yeah, these five are friends now. They can have these kind of moments together.
Yeah. It feels very natural.
Yeah, people tend to forget that Shirobako. It took a while to make it obvious that Shirobako was a good show. People tend to forget that like the first 10 episodes, it's not obvious where the show is going. It's not obvious what the show is about. It's not obvious why the show is great. And to me, Sakura Quest is in that spot right now. That's why it's rated so low.
It is rated so low, average-wise, on Mal, and just that makes me so mad, because
It's not that bad a show.
Like, even if you really just reduce it down to only being just like basically a slice of life with adults, and that's it. Like, you don't look into like the characters' interactions or any other unique factors it has. It's still such a low score for something like that, and I think it's because it's being, like you said, it's being compared to Shirobako so much, and it's just, sure, I understand where that comes from. It's not the same anime. It's different. Yeah. Sure, it has similar art style, same studio, I think some of the same people working on it and stuff, but it's just a different kind of anime, and I think the expectations for it are just, people are expecting the second coming of Shirobako, and maybe it will be just as good as Shirobako by the end, and people will realize that. But
hopefully,
right now, I think it's
fun.
People are expecting greatness right out the gate, and
it's a slow start.
It is, even as it's one of my favorites right now, and I will admit it's a slow start. There's the reason it appealed to me really was it at first, and even other to extents later and stuff, really is similar to just why I like cute girls doing cute things anime, but it is more than that. And
people need to realize that there is more. There is more to it than just cute girls. Like there's more to it than just being a Shirobako clone.
Yeah.
Oh shit! No, it's Sakura Reset.
Yeah, I guess. Unless anyone else had something else to say on Sakura Quest. No. All right, Sakurada Reset.
I feel like
Go ahead. You take lead on this one, then.
Okay. I feel like this. I feel like this is. I feel like this show is one of the it's one of the weaker shows this season. It would be one of the weaker shows this season, just because the cast I feel like it's one of the weaker shows that's so slow in developing. It did pick up recently, but the main girl and the cast are kind of they're a bit dull. I'd say
this is what Part 5 died for, everybody.
I'd say my favorite parts about it are the different powers are interesting. I like all the different powers because it's not all the powers are cool because there's a big variety of them, and they're not all and there's everything from simple to complex things, and especially with the girl who committed suicide as well. That power is going to go places, and now I feel like it's picking up with the second half with the Bureau contemplating going after the main dude's head.
Oh, that's what's happening? Holy shit! I might.
Wait, is this not over? Is it a double core?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had no
I
idea.
dropped at around episode 8, and at that point I was just kind of bored. So the thing with the main character going around and asking people if they knew what a MacGuffin is, this kind of really pissed me off.
Yeah, I've fallen asleep watching it sometimes.
Yeah, like people call it pretentious, and like I don't totally agree, because it does feel like somewhere in there it probably justifies its way of thinking properly. I just really don't care enough to like look into it.
I swear I watched the first episode of this and I don't remember anything. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's just really subtle. It's incredibly subtle.
Yeah, probably. Who knows? I'm willing to give this show the benefit of the doubt, and maybe pick it up like when it's over. Cause I do feel like there might be something there. It's just really not obvious yet. There was this part where the main character like goes against this girl who can make matter disappear, and I really like that part where she takes away his head, and then she's fucking traumatized.
Yes.
To
I
me, that
love
was
that
a really
part.
good scene.
Yeah.
The show needs more of these kind of scenes to me, other than like the main character going around and like talking to people, and the point not being obvious.
I definitely think it's starting to go back in that direction. I think it's going to have a stronger finish for sure.
All right then.
Because they're having actual conflict. They're having actual conflict with the second half starting to show up.
Nice.
If it's the general consensus of it is that it gets better later on, there's a chance I'll pick it up. I just know that when I initially read the synopsis of it, I was immediately like, nah.
Yeah.
I as much as I'm sure the show is different, I got like Charlotte vibes from it, and I'm like, I just don't feel like watching another Charlotte right now, even if it's different. I'm just nah. I don't want to do time travel stuff right now. So
But yeah, I really want to like the show. I will give it another chance eventually. It's just that scenes like the main character explaining why he would like a rock, like, because there's this part where an old lady asks him if you fell in love with someone and then they become a rock, would you like that rock? And they just fucking talk for 10 minutes about that shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
So adorable.
let's move on to lovely old Clockwork. All right.
Go ahead, Willis.
What do you have to say, Willis?
Oh, I think.
Because I think you're the only one that actually watched like all of it, or even any significant number of episodes.
I did finish it.
And he is one of the few
Okay.
people who like it.
I would say I would say it's a bit ridiculous. I'd say it's a fun cute adventure. It's a fun cute adventure. To enjoy it, you have to lower your standards a little bit, because if you think it's going places, it's really not going in places. But it's more enjoying tropes. It's more enjoying tropes. And I really liked Ryu's a lot. It was just he's just really sharp tongued, and Naoto being his ladies' man self.
She was the reason I was initially going to keep watching it. I did drop it after just the first episode. I was eventually like, she's not worth it. But she was like my favorite thing about it for sure. I loved her sassy, sharp tongue. Oh, so good. And but I don't know. I mean, granted, because this might also be because it has the same character designer, or I think that's what it is. But I got major Lance and Masks vibes from it, and I was like, I don't want to do this again.
Dude,
I don't want another.
I would
Lance
totally
and
do
Masks.
Lance and Mask again, but this wasn't it. Sadly.
The thing that definitely told me that though was there's the one I don't think I didn't watch enough to see her. I don't think she's in the first episode, but the smaller girl that's in the openings and stuff looked just like the one from Lance and Masks, like almost exactly.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, oh shit,
You're talking about the younger sister, right?
I guess that's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't really know
that
what
is
her
the
role
younger
was.
sister, yeah.
I'm just, I don't know, man. I wasn't about to want to take that trip again, so I just nah.
So I only dropped it after the first episode, and I do like. Part of me feels like I have a good enough reason to have, because I had already read the first volume of the light novel, and the first episode adapts all of it. It was fucking incredible to me how it just takes a fucking light novel volume and condenses it so hard into an episode.
Yeah, I find that very surprising to hear. Yeah,
It is fucking incredible. Part of me just wants to like applaud them for having done that.
Yeah. I must say the ending is probably strange. I'd say the ending is the second strangest ending for this season, at least for me. Ending of Clockwork.
Holy shit, really? I'm like,
Yeah, Love Kome is the weirdest. But
Oh, shit.
That's Love Kome. It was like they start summoning magic gears and stuff, and it's like, oh great, there's a new magic now. Yeah. I'd say it still works as endings, just because that's what the show's about. It's that's kind of what the show does. It's just silliness and adventure. It's cute. So.
yeah. People were probably expecting way too much out of it because the No Game No Life author wrote it.
I was really into it from the PVs and stuff that initially came out, like the original ones. I don't think I ever watched one where it actually showed the legit show's animation or not, but I don't know, just something about like some of the character designs I saw on the Clockwork Planet. I don't know, just something about it was like, this could be cool. And then no.
Yeah, they don't.
But there's other anime this season that I felt that way about too.
Yeah, they don't use the setting all that much. I don't think they don't use the setting all that much. It's more, hey, we're on planet clocks, and they could go into it, but we'd rather go with your ambiguous super weapon man who's firing lasers.
All right, it's time, boys. It's time for
Tsuki Kirei.
Misty's number one, pretty much.
Kirei!
So Nick, this is the one you meant with
yes.
like the product placement.
No, actually, it isn't.
Oh shit!
I thought this might have been, but it's not. Okay.
I actually didn't watch the
'cause
show, so
There's because the first episode talks about that line app quite a lot, and almost as if that's trying to advertise it, and that was kind of annoying and made me very skeptical about the show. But they dropped that whole thing very quickly. Like, they did not go down that road of being this weird anime about advertising line, as much as they use the app a lot in it, just to text and communicate and stuff. But oh my god, this is one of the, in my opinion at least, and I know you have different feelings, AK, but or at least you have different feelings about the ending. But just this is one of the best like new romances I've seen in a very, very long time. It didn't really like, it didn't do anything I found that offensive. You know, it didn't have like perverted humor too much, or if any at all, practically. It didn't really like try to rely on any weird like archetypes or tropes that are huge in romance. It was very like, it felt very real to me. It reminded me of like being in and building up to my first relationship, and how it's awkward. It's you're nervous, you know, like just very, very simple things are such a huge deal because it's the first time you've ever, you know, held, you know, another person's hand or even thought about kissing another person, like, and it actually potentially happening. Like, it's the best example of like pure like middle school romance that I've probably ever seen in anime.
Yeah.
And
that part where
I loved it for that.
That part where the main character like has to, they were about to meet up when they were on the school trip. That episode was so fucking tense to me.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was obvious they were gonna meet up, but like, I was scared of what was going to happen next, even though ultimately nothing really happened other than, yeah. But I don't know, like the way they conveyed the feelings they had during that part. It's like I can understand why I felt really anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I missed. I would definitely agree with the with the way they handle relationships a lot. It was just really natural. It's really natural. Which with a lot of romance anime, it's cliche and they rely on a lot of stuff. This is just natural. I feel like they were a little too shy at times, but that's just. And then that got to me a little bit, but for the most part, I like the shyness because it's like
the problem with the way it does it, as much as it's part of why I love it, it's a very, very slow moving anime.
Oh yes,
and I understand why a lot of people aren't into it for that reason, because it can be kind of frustrating to watch if you're like, all right, let's move on. But I mean, it would lose a lot of its purpose if it did that, if it rushed this relationship, because it's about those relationships that move slow, that, you know, don't really go anywhere quickly, because it's a first relationship, it's new, you're young, you know. That's what it is, and I can understand why people wouldn't want to watch that kind of romance, because it's maybe not as entertaining. But for me, like, romance is always a kind of story I really like to get myself in, even not necessarily like putting myself in the character's shoes, but just sort of like relating it to my own experiences and stuff. And this is just one of those anime that really sold me because of that.
Yeah. I thought the art style and music, they complemented the natural approach a lot. They complement natural approach.
Oh, they had such good insert songs in this show too. Oh my god, so many of them were super nice, and I'm so excited to have the full versions. Oh, that's so good. And
the relationship part, I thought it did well. It's just that the people who were in the relationship, I found really fucking plain.
Yeah, they were plain. They were very plain.
I do have a small comment on that, because I don't necessarily disagree, at least for the girl, and for the most part the guy as well. Although I think there's something in particular that I think people overlook on this, and like, it's a very small thing but I liked it a lot. Is like, the anime does, in my opinion, a pretty good job at giving the guy, I don't know their names, to be fair, which is not a good sign, but I don't know the names of like a lot of characters in anime, but the main guy, like, one thing that I really liked about it was that there's these moments where when you're just seeing him texting the girl, and they're just showing him, and he's not saying anything, they're just showing him in his room, like, just showing his natural physical reactions to like the conversation or what he's thinking and stuff, and it actually tells a lot about his character that maybe isn't directly as obvious. It's a very visual sort of thing. Like, you can tell he's very, very into sports, in particular boxing, if you actually pay attention, because he has that boxing poster, and anytime he's nervous he starts punching the little like hanging light thing and stuff. Like, it's just that happens multiple times, and it's in my it's like I said, it's a very small thing, but I really liked how they handled that, because it adds a layer to his character without ever having to
point it out,
tell it to you. Yeah. And there's some other little moments like that as well that maybe aren't as significant as that one. That's just the best example I can think of. And most of them are for the guy.
Yeah.
But even with a lot of those, they are still fairly plain. I will not deny that. But I don't think they were as plain as a lot of people made them out to be.
I missed a lot of the moments you said with the main male character. I missed a lot of those. Although I do remember the light punching, the light boxing. But I never noticed the boxing poster.
Yeah. I won't. You know, I'll save. I don't really need to go into too much in detail about the ending, but like, I know I liked how it ended a lot. I know you didn't feel quite the same, AK, and I understand you might not want to talk about exactly why, but I think that in general, this is going to be a very satisfying ending for most people.
Probably.
Yeah. I definitely like the ending. I definitely like the ending. The ending was quite nice. It's probably like in regards to its like Right. I felt like the ending. The ending was very much growing up. The ending showed their growth. I feel like a lot. It showed their growth. Because you never saw them grow. You saw them grow little spurts throughout the show, but ending, that's when you really saw it. That's when you really saw it.
Oh,
It was nice. It had me tearing up.
Oh yeah, same.
I'll
It
be
was
vague
cute.
about it so I don't spoil anything. I don't feel like that was supposed to have worked out. Or, even though it did, it would have been interesting to me to see how it worked out.
I do agree. I'm trying to be vague because of the spoilers here too, but like, it's seeing it end without the bit at the very, very end would have been nice too, because that's just sort of how a lot of those relationships turn out. And I feel like that would have been a very nice ribbon on the even if, you know, somewhat disappointing from certain perspectives. It would have been a nice ribbon to put on the whole package as being like to really sell the whole idea that it's telling a middle school romance story.
Yeah.
You know, to really push that idea even further, being like, it's a story about young love, young new love. You know, and sometimes it ends one way, sometimes it ends another way.
Yeah. Although I feel like the way it builds a relationship, you really couldn't do it any other way. I feel like that would kind of break down what was built up. I feel like that would break down what was built up, and then forgive me for making this comparison, but like Fuga, that ending was. And
I haven't even seen that one, so.
yeah. I felt like the problem with Fugo is they never even touched on that theme, and they could have easily gone there, and that might have made it better. But Tsukiri does the theme magnificently.
I guess.
All right. Did anyone else have anything else they want to add on that?
2 more things, I guess. Just cut out that ending credit, and I would have fucking loved this show. But I don't know. It just pisses me off. And also, the shorts at the end. Almost every episode ends with like a couple of shorts of the other characters, and I really like those. Cause to me they were pretty interesting. Some of the relationships, they felt more interesting than just like the really plain and pure one they had. That's just me, probably.
Yeah. That was a nice little snap for sure.
But yeah.
All right. Now on to Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul, second season of Bahamut.
Dude, that's my shit. Okay.
All right, Riri, take it away.
All right. So, which of you have seen the first season?
Me.
Okay.
Seen it.
No.
Never started the second, but seen the first.
All right.
Neither.
So only
So,
Willis hasn't seen it.
Should I mute and deafen or?
okay.
It's up to you, dude. It's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the first season, I would say, it was okay. I wasn't as into it as I am this season, at least the beginning of it anyway. I think a big part of it was Favreau's character. It's not that he's hard to like, but I could see why some people might feel that way. He reminded me a lot of, what's his name from Samurai Senpou?
Which one?
Not just
Mugen?
because of his afro. Okay.
It's the guy from the islands. I
Mugen?
forget his name too.
Yeah,
Mugen?
there you go.
Mugen, voiced by the glorious Steve Blum.
Yeah, and I noticed some similarities besides the hair. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate him. It's just, I felt like it took a little too long. Like, I understand that why he did the things that he did, but they could have solved so many problems just if he just talked to, like, the one female character. Like, I'm trying to be discreet here so I don't spoil anyone, but yeah. And so the second series is focused on Nina, and some people going into it are mad because Fabro was the main character the first season. So I understand that. Yeah. So far, it's gotten up to episode 13, so we have more. I estimated it probably to end around September, maybe late October. No, maybe early October. It just depends if they go on hiatus or not, because he said that they might take a little break for a week. Anyways, so the beginning I liked. Nina, she's different from Favreau in the sense that she is a very pure character. She's always happy-go-lucky. She does kind of get herself into trouble sometimes, but not much as him. She's still a pretty younger character, so that's probably something else to take into account with her. The first part of the series is her kind of making contact with other characters. I don't want to spoil anything again. He's on the cast. Azazel, he is a very prominent character in like the first half. So far he hasn't appeared yet, but Rita and Kaiser have showed up. Fabro eventually does. Basically, the whole cast gets together eventually,
Azazel
which is
was
my
the villain in
prediction.
the first season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I love
Azazel
Azazel becomes a hero. That actually kind of makes me a little more intrigued.
That
Okay,
sounds
so
really
the
interesting.
part, honestly, I was so surprised. Like, he had this. I don't like. Well, what did you think
Well,
about
the ending
him?
for season 1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw it, you know.
Yeah. So I really like him, his character. Especially, I think that's kind of what made me be interested in watching the second season anyway. Just because if there was going to be more Favreau again, I could have assumed what it was going to be. But so far, it's been okay. The past 2 recent episodes have kind of not been as good in my opinion, just because I feel like they're trying to add science fiction to the story, and that's kind of complicated when you start adding fantasy elements. And those are like the complete opposites of each other. So when you try to combine science fiction with fantasy, you kind of get this weird sort of online kind of thing, but it's not in a game. So I guess that's my only concern with it so far.
I see. It does sound like it's going into like in an interesting direction with like the kind of setup it has. Humans are taking over and shit.
Well, so far, at least in my opinion, that they've really not, well, some of the characters, like Azazel, have their own opinions of different races, of, them having bad intentions or whatever, but most of them are all painted on the same level. Like, no one's really evil. Everyone has kind of the same desires and such. So I really like that aspect of the show. Now, it's not, like, painted black and white.
I do feel like the opening kind of shows it that way, too. Like, it has a shit ton of red.
I guess my only other question would be about Cheerios' character. I've heard mixed views about him from different people. Going into it, I felt like he was okay of an antagonist. I think they are going to try to redeem him at some point. Just from the episodes that I've seen so far. I'd be okay with that as long as they don't rush it, which is where I'm a little bit concerned, considering how slow we're going in the arcs.
Is that the king character? Or...
Yeah.
I see.
Is that it for that one then? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, on to Armed Girls Machiavellianism, which I think there's only 2 of us here who have even seen it.
That's 3.
I've seen
Yep.
an episode. I've seen an episode.
Okay,
I'm not even-
let me
I'm
start
not
for this
starting
one
it.
because I think Willis, like me and Willis have very different opinions on this.
I know. I've actually never seen it.
Oh,
Oh,
I guess there's only
okay,
2
then it's just me and AK. I would like to start by saying I had some decent hopes for this out of the gate with the first 2 episodes, because in the first 2 or 3 episodes, there are a bunch of fights that are remarkably well thought through. There's the first fight with the girl with the katana versus unarmed, where she uses her breathing technique to keep him at a breathing technique to adapt to keep her strength up and keep him at a distance. Then there's like the fight with the whip and why the whip is a bad in close quarters combat with the hand to hand. I thought those fights were the way they thought it through, and even the girl with the rapier, where she sort of uses fencing techniques, mixing it with his charges, almost like she was bullfighting. I thought that was remarkably well thought through, and it gave me hope for the show. And then the show crushed every hope I had. It just, like, it got to a point where it just didn't make sense anymore, and I don't care about the harem. The characters, like, I didn't care. And it just, like, it progressively just got worse and worse and worse, and I was like, I just, no.
So, I have a different opinion than you, just because from the start I knew this show was gonna be bad. Like, the fight scenes that you like, I really don't like, because they have way too much exposition during the fight. I didn't need the weird breathing thing to be explained to me, because I could see how it was affecting the main character. I don't need I don't need a whip to be explained to me. I can see that. Oh yeah, it's probably not close. It's probably not good in close quarter combat. I don't need fucking rapier shit to be explained to me. I get it.
You know what? You're right. Like, it didn't need to be explained. I just like that in my mind. I was like, this is more thought than I expected the creators of the show to put into a show like this.
I guess.
Like, I'm not gonna say I thought this was gonna be a 9 out of 10, but I was like, this is you know what? They actually somewhat put thought into this. I'm surprised considering the type of show.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, the show, I feel like it had some interesting elements to it sometimes, like the green-haired girl's backstory, how she got kind of just like replaced her twin.
Okay.
It was a weird thing they left on the table and didn't do anything with. But yeah, like there are some times where I'm like, it has some interesting things, like the main villain's backstory, kinda. That just the last episode was kind of weird to me. Some people like the ending a lot. I don't know. I'm just like, eh. But yeah.
Dude, I didn't even make it to the ending.
All I want to add to this is that I don't think there was a worst first episode this season for me, and like this is one of the worst first episodes I've seen in a very long time. It was an immediate like not gonna watch, not gonna happen.
See, I get that though, because when I was watching that first episode too, I'm like, this MC, he's one of those MCs that you see all the time, like, oh, I don't care, I just want to be lazy, but I'm actually not going to be lazy. And it's like, and then, like, there's, like, so many like, he's like, oh, I just want to do nothing, and blah, blah, and then, like, never explained why he's at this school. The whole premise of the school is dumb. Like, I get why, for a lot of people, that first episode's got to be a turnoff. And, I don't know, for me, I had kind of a bet going with myself of how many of those, quote, girls were going to be traps. And, yeah, that bet went horribly.
The funniest thing to me about the ending is that the school was left just as it was, the same kind of system where the guys are oppressed and the girls rule. It's like nothing really changed, just some girl who was apparently the ruler just left.
Yeah.
It was such a weird ending. I don't know, like the school is still the same. It's still like, yeah, guys are oppressed, girls can carry swords. Like, nothing changed.
Nothing happened.
It's so great.
This was dumb. Like, why did I watch this?
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we had somebody on who liked this show, because I'm genuinely curious. People who like this show, why do they like this show?
a big part is probably the
Leave
main
it in the
character.
comments. Tell us why you like the show and why you hate our guts.
Yeah, like this has like a 7 point something on Mal, so I'm like, there's an audience here.
Yeah.
Who the hell is it?
I think it's people who don't want to admit that they like it. Sorry.
That must
Yeah.
be why Eromanga-sensei has a good rating.
Oh,
too.
jeez.
If I liked that, I wouldn't go around telling people. Not that I like it or anything. It's
A big appeal is probably the main character and how like laid back he is and shit.
But like, he's not really that laid back because like he's all like, "Oh, I'm laid back, but I'll go out of my way to do all this ridiculous shit to be laid back." And it's like, you're not really being laid back, are you?
yeah.
Like, if you wanted to be laid back, you just fuck off and sit in a hammock. Like that, you're not really doing that.
I don't know. Like, I saw the first episode, and I liked Rin. She's the one that has, like, the weird mask, or whatever. You know, I thought she was cute, but that's all I know about the show.
I do like the development she gets in like the first few episodes where she goes from a full mask to a half mask. As in, like, she's
And then to,
opening
like,
up to people.
Then to like a quarter mask or something.
Yeah. But there's another show we're gonna talk about that does that kind of thing way better.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Alright.
fuck the show.
I guess we'll move on from that and move on to SukaSuka.
Yeah.
Oh.
The
No.
pain train. The pain train.
It's not even a pain train. It's just. It's not a pain train. It's just not.
God,
you know
I
what?
love the way Willis
Willis,
describes
Willis, you
you're once
start.
again, you
Ah.
are the positive one here.
Ah.
So why don't you open it?
I feel like overall the show is pretty standard, but I did like how it played the sadness element, and things got shittier and shittier. But at the same time it was cute. At the same time it was cute, and at the same time it was cute. I love, and I feel like while the cast, they all pretty much stay the same for the most part, except I thought it was a good coming of age for the Chitoli, the blue-haired girl. I liked how her character changed, although you don't really see that until the end. I did like that.
Listen, I don't mean to. I don't mean
man,
like
that's
no
great.
disrespect to you, Willis, but
Okay.
oh my god, this show had no idea what it wanted to be. I'm just gonna say it right now. If you want to be a depressing, post-apocalyptic, end-of-the-universe show, fine. Don't spend 80% of your runtime on moe lollies and people doing chores. If you want to be a depressing action show, and if you don't want to be a depressing action show, then make up your mind and be a moe show. Like if you did those two elements, if they meshed them better in conjunction, I might not be as mad about it. But they didn't. You have there's at the beginning of the show, it's like kind of like, oh yeah, this is the end of the world, shit happened, and we're gonna be a moe show for like 9 episodes, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like by like episode 10 or whatever, oh yeah, remember how we said the world ended? Yeah, it actually did. Remember, we're gonna change the show now. Like
Like my
people
part
who are
of
mad
the
about
show.
Kado's transition, like they should be twice as mad about this one because it's done so much worse.
Like, my part of the show is that, well, me and Misty were talking about it earlier several times this week, of how you know it's bad when the only thing that helps to redeem it is when they bring out Scarborough Fair. And it's like,
Yep.
when you whip out one of your rare Pokemon cards to, like, get someone's attention, that's exactly what it's like.
It's I will say this. I did not hate this show. I think it does some stuff okay. And I think that if it had been rebalanced and refocused a little differently, like Nick was saying, it would have been a lot better. But for me, it's hard for me to have a lot of appreciation for this show when it spends so much time developing like the relationship between, well, okay, let me rephrase that. When it shows so much like interaction between Willis and Catholi,
It's Willem.
but doing such a horrible job with handling that, handling it as a romance. I have never been more angered by the way an anime handled the romance than this anime for a very long time, because it, despite like not really starting until like 5 or 6 episodes into the anime, it still felt so rushed because like I didn't feel any connection between these two characters, any meaningful one.
Yeah,
I really wish that because at least to me, like in the synopsis, it said that they were saying that he was going to be the father to the little girls that they never had. If they wanted to do that, they could have introduced all the characters and then made him come into the story eventually. But like, it just went too fast because they jumped right into it, and it didn't, like you said, it didn't feel believable. But at the same time, that's not how relationships work. And even if it is just, an anime, as people can make that argument, it's still hard to like if it doesn't feel real,
Like, here's the thing. I agree with you guys, and there's something that we had a really great conversation about this earlier in the week, and I'd just like to talk over the points from that, is because there's like a bunch of times where it's almost like brought on, like that romance is almost like she likes him because he's the only guy available. And, like, she thinks she's gonna die. And there are better ways to handle that relationship than, like, the way they did. Because you can do a relationship like that and make it well done. Like, they both don't have a great life expectancy, and they're there and whatever, and then they can be there for each other in a weird way. But you don't set it up like, they're all trying to set it up like they're, like, some great, like, romance, like they're made for each other.
Yeah.
No, they're not. And, like, every time I just roll my eyes every time I see that. And when by the end of the show there's like 2 or 3 straight episodes of Katoli doing nothing but chores because she's like, I want to learn to be a better wife for him. I was like, oh no.
I think this anime is one of the only times I would say that if instead of handling it like a very nice, like really well-rounded, like trying to make it a really meaningful, deep relationship, if instead they just came at it like, and I know this is a little crude, I've said this way before, but like it's a bit crude, but if the anime had accepted that basically these are 2 young horny kids that just want to like bang before they die, if that is how they decided to handle the relationship, I would have been so much more on board for it.
Absolutely.
Because sure, it wouldn't have been a very meaningful, deep one, but it would have. Those kind of relationships still happen. It's still a form of romance, and you don't see that a lot in anime. Usually, like, if it is a very trivial one, they at least try to make it seem like a deep thing. So just instead spend less time trying to like make this forced romance and just let them be horny teenagers.
Wait,
and then spend that. What?
I was gonna say, can we interrupt the part about them being horny teenagers? Because I don't know if he is a teenager. Did you see the flashback?
No.
They cut back.
No, actually, he's like 500 something.
Well, no. Like that's like well, he's frozen or whatever, that bullshit. But like, they cut back, and when they go to like near the end, they have like a thing where he sees his past or whatever. The girl who you see at the beginning, she calls him dad. He's got a kid. This isn't horny teenagers. This is like horny man and like underage teenager.
Like, yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Well, I do agree that the romance feels a little sudden. I definitely agree it's sudden, and there's a lot of moodiness. I feel like that contrasts well with the darker bits.
There's one thing I want to praise the show for, and it's symbolizing its message through what is basically the dog weapons. So they explained in one episode how the dog weapons are basically just an amalgamation of like a bunch of really trivial charms.
Yeah.
And I feel
they do.
That is the message of the show, that a strong relationship that brings happiness to people is just basically an amalgamation of a bunch of really pointless shit. But that is what makes people happy. That is what brings people strength. She was
what?
Like, Kotori was happy just because she got to like cook for someone and like make clothes for people and shit.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess. Well, I would agree with you. While the base is a bit weak and sudden, I would agree with you on that. That it was. I can get behind that theme.
I don't feel like it fully justifies it, but it presents it in a way that I can like try and get behind it. Because at the end,
Until he asks her to marry him.
Yes.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I did understand why she called herself the happiest girl in the world at that point.
Yeah. I must say, I like the conflict a lot. That's because with a lot of those kind of conflicts, with the conflict of with a lot of those, with a lot of memory alteration conflicts, I did like that because it was ultimately because she was aware that she was that her memories were altering. She was very much aware of that, and everyone else was too. I did like that because it's something I did that was a threat that it's not a threat you can just kill with a magic sword. I did like that.
Willis, I liked the idea of that, but I think the way they did it in the show wasn't incredibly great because they just talked about her having a problem. Like, they talked about her not having as many memories. But, like, I would have loved if they had a scene where she straight up was forgetting stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like they kind of hinted at it with the kitchen where she couldn't remember where she put something, but that's not really a hint. Like, I would have loved to see, like, she forgets like the other girl's name or something like that. And, like, they're having a conversation and she just goes like, and she just like is blankly staring at people. I like the idea that was there, but I think again that could have been done so much better, and it wouldn't have been hard to do.
Yeah.
Well, there's some truth to that.
Instead, they tried to show the scenes of the little girl talking with a bunch of weird images in the background. I really like those scenes, but at the same time, I feel that if they had spent more time on making the parts where she's losing her memory like more relatable, I would have been fine.
Or just cut the scenes where she's doing chores. Seriously.
I honestly like the cuteness of that. I thought it was cute.
There didn't need to be that many of them though. Like maybe the one on the ship where it's like, oh, she's trying to focus in her situation, whatever. But all the scenes at the house, like, you don't need to have that many chore scenes.
I felt like those helped build a theme up that she was becoming her own person and not just some mindless fanatical weapon. I did like how that was how I felt like it was approaching that direction.
Yeah, but there's better ways to do that than like making her into a waifu by showing she can do chores.
Yeah, it was a cute approach for me, and I like my cuteness, so.
I still say the anime cheated in the last episode, bringing back Scarborough Fair, instantly
you.
making me like that
I'm
scene like a
telling
million times more.
It's bringing out your
Because
Charizard.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah, that
And,
song.
like, or that this version. I mean, I like the normal song too, but this anime's like version of it is great, and it's probably my favorite part of this anime is an insert song. Like that's what it's come to.
You wanna see my golden Pokemon cards? Notice me.
Well, I guess we've had enough about SukaSuka.
Okay.
Let's move on, okay, guys? Anybody else?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is Quanzhi Gaoshou, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yep. Okay, I think I'm the only person here who watched this.
I've watched
Is that the-
5 episodes.
I watched an episode.
Oh, you guys watched a little bit? Okay.
Is that the Chinese SAO one?
It's not really SAO, although I actually feel like the comparison is remarkably accurate if you take it from sort of a character analysis perspective. Like the show subject matter is like it's not about them getting trapped into a game. It's like they're pro gamers, but like the character actually reminds me so much of Kirito because he's just like he's god at his game. skills don't really apply. They only apply when the show feels like they need to insert it once just to make you not forget this is a game. But it's like, he's still just backflipping and doing crazy OP shit every 5 seconds, regardless of skills or cooldowns or any sort of rotation that would be required in an MMO. And it's like, the other character's like, oh yeah, I gotta activate my skill, gotta do that, whatever. Sometimes, and then the OP just comes in, he's like, I'm gonna do a backflip and slice the boss in half. Because, like, health points don't matter, I'm the main character.
I'm gonna use my magic umbrella.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like,
I mean,
also the
yeah.
fact that he can be unspecialized and have every single other class's skill. Like, there's a PvP fight where he summons a pet, uses a machine gun, does 3 types of magic spells, and has a sword. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's no way any game would allow that.
I mean, the only thing that I have to give it props for is that with Kirito, he's like 14 or 15 or something. So he's not going to have the experiences like someone who's been playing for like years would. And so I don't know the guy, how old he is in the Chinese anime, but I remember someone saying that he was a lot older than Kirito, so it would make more sense of his level. But still, that doesn't make sense why he's, yeah.
Well, here's the thing, like, it does make more sense, absolutely what you're saying, and he is a professional gamer. Like, he was like one of the best professional gamers at this game. So in some respects, it does make sense. But he's playing other professional gamers in a lot of these fights. Like, he's fighting other really great professional gamers, and he doesn't even have trouble with them. Like, he's fighting bosses, he's soloing bosses. He doesn't even have trouble soloing bosses. Like, he's just doing it whatever. It's like no big deal to him. None of this game is any bit difficult.
Like, would you feel it would have been better if he would have come at it, like, really, really bad at first, and then maybe...
No, here's the thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, I'm sorry. I just get really excited about wanting to talk about this show. It's like, here's what I expected. I kind of wanted to see this where he gets... The thing is, like, he's a big pro gamer, whatever. He has a top-level account. He's been playing at top-level stuff for so long because he's a pro gamer. He does PvP events, PvE stuff, whatever. He loses his account when he has to leave his team. And so he has to start over from level 1. I would have loved to see where it's like, he's been playing this game at the top level for so long, he doesn't remember what the beginning levels are like. Or he doesn't remember what the original bosses are like. Or it's like the interactions have changed, so his strategies don't work anymore. I would have loved to see him grow and develop as he learns to change who he is by having to start from the ground up. But he doesn't do that. He just starts and he's just God with a keyboard, and that's how it goes.
Well, that makes sense.
Like, I think it could have been a really well-done story if they'd done that. Also, this is the product placement anime because there's so much McDonald's product placement. Like, I don't know how much McDonald's paid them.
So this is the one.
Yeah, there's McDonald's in, like, every episode. There's one episode where the people are calling him because he works a job. Also, he has a job as an internet cafe manager and never does his job. He's just playing video games all the time.
He's just playing fucking video games. Fuck.
Yeah. But, like, there's a part where people are calling him to go get... so he can go get them special McDonald's ice cream cones that were being advertised by the show. And I'm just like, oh. But
Yeah.
Wow.
anyways, does anybody else have anything to say about Quanzhi Gaoshou?
I hate the way it looks. Like,
Really? I actually thought that was like its redeeming quality. But
Like-
that's just its personal aesthetics. Like,
there are some parts that are kind of well animated, but for the most part, it's like really ugly CJ background characters and weirdly, like the mouses in the hands and shit. And
yeah.
like even
I just like the art style.
I guess even the backgrounds, like they don't seem to fit. That part where they did the raid boss against the vampire dude, they were just jumping around everywhere and they didn't seem to like fit into place at all. Like, it was obvious that it felt like they were like just juxtaposed onto a background, and it just felt weird. And then the fight scene itself, I don't feel like it looked good. I don't feel there was much thought put into the choreography. One of the biggest offensive of that to me was the fight against the high APM girl, where
Oh my god, yeah. He was all over the place in that
Yeah.
fight.
like the way they handled it was just like shot reverse shot. Basically, they just showed the main character doing an action, and then the girl reacting, which to me it isn't how games are played. Usually, people take actions at the same time, they try to predict what the other's gonna do. They should have been in the same frame together, not showing different parts of the frame.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And also, just fuck the high PM girl. Like that is basically her. She's just high PM girl. There's nothing to her more than that. Fuck.
Like I want to get mad about this show is like the level of stress they put on APM with an MMO. Because I don't know, like maybe this MMO works differently, but every single MMO I played, I kept likening this to World of Warcraft because I spent so much time raiding with a guild in World of Warcraft that I remember like you have cooldowns and spells and rotations. You can optimize your rotation to a degree to get max damage out of it, but like your APM kind of drops off at a point because you still have to wait for cooldowns. So you can only optimize which attacks you're hitting in between your cooldowns for other attacks so much. Like there's a level where after a point, APM is actually hitting buttons that fast is actually a detriment.
Oh shit.
Like I don't know. I liked the one character though who was really slow, whose like thing was like he set traps, but like even then, the fight wasn't that well shown.
Yeah, the fights in the show aren't good, which is like a big reason why I just don't like the show.
Yeah, no, it doesn't deserve the 8 point whatever it has. I don't believe that for a second.
Like, sure, it's a decent show, but like, I'm not gonna say it's one of the best shows this season.
Oh God, no, not even up there. Anyways, I think that's enough for Quanzhi Gaoshou. I've got nothing to say about it anymore.
Okay, then we can move on to Zero Kara Hajimeru Mahou no Shou. Memoir of Zero.
Yes, the good stuff.
Alright. This is my thing. I don't think this was a terribly spectacular anime, but like I still liked it quite a bit just as being sort of like a nice, relatively simple fantasy anime that didn't really do anything to offend me. It was fun. I liked the characters. The story was, kind of what you would expect from a fantasy anime. It was just a fun ride. I never felt like felt like the show was declining too much at any point, or necessarily getting a lot better either. But it was a fun watch. I had a good time with it.
I would agree with you in terms of it does turn out to be pretty standard. But I feel like its main strength was that the characters were interesting. The way they interacted, especially 13. 13 and 0 are probably my favorite characters because they were interesting. 13 as well. His scheming was really short term, but he was pretty interesting, and the scheming made it a little more interesting because you felt like there were real stakes. Like, yeah, there's a war going down and people are gonna die. A lot of people. And then you got the mages, and then you got everyone going after everybody, which I felt like even though it's short, it played that well. It's like, yeah, they're on the ridge, they're about to kill us, and you need to get in this magic circle.
Yeah.
I like 13 and is it 13 and 0 your favorites? You said?
Yes.
Yeah, I like those two. For me, Yohei was definitely my favorite one.
Yeah, he was.
I liked his personality a lot. I liked his. I don't know, those kind of characters always get to me a little bit. Even if when I expressed my liking of his character as making my picture him for a while, I was called a furry a lot. That was fun.
Yeah, he was very much the
was
straight man. He was the straight man. I feel like.
Kind of, I guess. Yeah.
Him and Wolf Boy.
The only thing I'm kind of disappointed by with this anime is that they, I wish it was longer because it does create this world that is pretty nice. Like there's aspects of it that I really want to learn more about the history of these witches, about like more about these beast fallen, and more about just what it's like being them and things like that. And it ends so quick by the time I've really started to like care so much more about this world. It's time for the end game stuff to happen, and for the anime to start wrapping things up with the blast arc or what have you. Yeah. And it's just disappointing. Like, it was still good. I still liked it, but if it had been like a 2-core show, I think it would have been that much better because they could have, they just could have showed off more of the world and really taken advantage of what they built.
Yeah. I definitely felt like the plot was a bit. They like it was. I definitely wouldn't have minded a bit more. I definitely like more because I felt like the way they told the story is more like, oh yeah, there's mages this world. There's some plague thing went down, and now it's a giant witch hunt, and then you got like 13 scheming and stuff. And it's like there's like 13 scheming, and then it's like everything jumps off from there, literally from there. It's like, oh, find the 13, and then oh, he's scheming, and then everything kind of jumps off from there. It's like there's no build up to that. There's no bit, which I mean, it does take place after most of this has already gone down. So maybe that was it, but. It was just kind of maybe a bit more or something, or like maybe them just trying to more information on the world and the events that happened before all this, which might have been straightforward and simple, but I feel like it would have really fleshed things out, like you said.
Yeah. But I mean, even in its current state, it's still one that I would recommend to certain people. Like, it's still a nice fantasy story.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. It's a very nice fantasy story.
Yeah. So, it's even while the anime I really liked, I still have some things that I would complain about. This one, my only complaint is that I just wish there was more of it.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot else I could say negative about it. Not that I think it's perfect 10 out of 10. It just doesn't do anything wrong besides that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciated it so much.
Yeah. I definitely like. Well, I also liked was I also liked how no character was ridiculously overpowered. They were powerful, but there were limits on what they could do at times. There were limits. Like, yes, Zero can basically trump every mage ever, but even she can't. Even she, the rules are pretty sound on magic. And it's like even she can't bypass some things. Like, yeah, she's stuck in a cage now, and she can't get out.
There's this cool bit later where and I don't think this is a major spoiler or anything, but I really liked this little part where she talks about how this book that she wrote, that people that was what spread magic across the land and stuff. She intentionally wrote some of the spells to be imperfect, so that if she ever encountered them, she knows how to say them and truly make them at their full power. Yeah. So no one can use her own magic to overpower.
Definitely.
I thought that was such a brilliant, amazing little addition to that. I was like, oh, this girl is smart as shit.
Oh yeah. I definitely added to her character because she's very much a witty. She's very much a witty and sharp. She's always teasing 13, and that definitely added to her. She's not just some witty little kid going. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm serious.
All right. Well, that's pretty much I think all we gotta say on that one. So let us move on to Renai Boukun.
Who wants to start?
Who would like to open up this one?
Dude, I hate the show. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Okay, I'll be the only one to talk about it then. And
I'll talk about it a little bit, but
I'm curious to watch it because it has a yandere, and I've not seen the yandere.
That's the only reason.
That is
the best.
Yeah, it is the only redeeming thing in this show, and it's not even that great.
She's not very good, but she's a yandere, so
yeah. Here's the thing.
It's just
I watched the show, and the first couple episodes, there were some funny gags with the yandere and the crazy and the weirdo angel, but the gags got old quick, and they weren't they were all just centered on the characters who, with the exception of the yandere girl, and the angel at times is funny, but not really. They're not really that interesting characters. There's the girl Yuzu who does the shield. She's not really that interesting at all. The sister isn't interesting. The male harem protagonist, he's your typical male harem protagonist, and his sister's typical tsundere sister.
Dude, his blue fucking hair. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's got blue hair. It's revolutionary. Dude, even the penguin gag with the sister, I didn't even find that funny the first time, let alone like the second or third or fourth or whatever time they
It's
brought
like
that back.
time to stop.
Yeah, it
Please.
wasn't funny at all. I don't know. I don't have much to say about the show either because it was crap.
It went in a completely different direction than I wanted it to when I read the synopsis of, like, I discovered the manga. I hadn't read the manga yet, still haven't, but I discovered the manga like only a few months before the anime was actually announced. And I loved the premise of it. I was like, oh man, this is like a weird, like, romantic Death Note parody kind of thing. But I don't know, just the direction it took with this really, like, slapsticky just humor. I don't even know how to describe it. It just turned out to be something I didn't want it to be.
Yeah, it's fucking obnoxious.
And I lost interest very quickly in it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Like, I mean, sometimes the visual gags were okay. Like, but that's like a personal thing. Like, I kind of like anime doing those visual, like, animation change gags because I think it's something that anime comedy can do that other mediums can't. But even then, they weren't even that great. And, like, nothing about this show was, like, it didn't stay funny. It was just meh. It was like, here's another harem for you guys.
People
Yay.
praise it because, like, it's a harem that you wouldn't necessarily want because every girl just is very troublesome.
Yeah, but I'd rather see, if I want a group of girls who I wouldn't necessarily want to hang around with, I'd rather watch Konosuba for
Yeah,
that.
you'd watch Konosuba.
Like, that's so much, they're so much funnier in Konosuba than they are in, like, Renai Boukun.
Basically, yeah, just watch Konosuba.
AK, do you still want to talk about Boruto, or just skip that?
So this show is pretty okay. A lot of Naruto Naruto fans give it flack because it starts off in this elementary school, but like everything about this show is like it's structured in a way where it tries to differentiate itself from the main series. Hence why it doesn't start off with like this big apocalyptic event that is the Ninetales attacking. It just starts off with a bunch of kids running around doing parkour shit. It is trying to be its own thing, and I respect it for that. There are parts where it's just kind of boring, but there are parts where I'm like, hey, this is pretty fun. They do manage to like make Boruto's character like feel like something I can get behind. And also, there's this one part in the opening. It's basically the end where it's Naruto putting his back to the camera, and then Boruto just kind of phasing in. It's a really cool shot of just like showing people that it's his time now. Like, I like this show. It's pretty okay. It'll take some time before it can become anything incredible, but it's time I'm willing to give it. And that's about it.
Alright. Fair enough. Alright, let's move on to everyone's favorite this season.
Eromanga-sensei.
Eromanga-sensei.
Oh.
Who would like to open up this
Do
one?
it, Misty.
Yeah.
Alright, let's do it, because I've never been ashamed to say that I'm actually not that I'm necessarily comparing these two anime a lot, but I've never been afraid to say I'm a fan of Ora Imo. I actually like that anime quite a bit. So I was, admittedly a tiny bit interested to see what this would be, to see another story from that author. However, this one, all the strengths I felt that Ora Imo had are just completely absent from this. Just completely not there. And all of the things that I didn't necessarily like about Ora Imo, and then some, are here. Not that I hate this show, but it doesn't do much of anything. I don't even really know what to say about it is the thing.
I felt like I had to go to church after seeing one episode.
That's why I was like unsure if I wanted to start this one, because I'm like, I don't even know where to begin with it. It doesn't do anything like noteworthy at all, and it's just sort of like fuck, dude. I don't know. Someone else talk about it because I don't have jack shit to say about this show. It's just so whatever.
The only scene that I thought was cute was, what's her name? I don't even care at this point. It's the main girl.
Sagiri?
And she's drawing on her...
Sagiri, I think?
And she's drawing on her tablet. And I thought that was cute. But that was about it.
Does the last episode actually like really redeem the show, or did the people I talked to just kind of exaggerate?
Who was the one that said the other day that they felt the last episode redeemed it?
It was Light.
Bit?
Yeah.
Was it Light? I totally disagree. Like, I didn't say anything at the time. The last episode was just, it did nothing. It was just a random, like, fan service episode. That's all it was.
That's all the show was.
Well, yes, but like, I actually felt like the 11th episode, the one that was like actually like the more like finale of the what story existed for the show, like that's the one that had the emotional climax to it and stuff. And I felt like that episode was actually okay. Like it was, it gave like a little, even if I think that their backstory is just kind of whatever, like it wasn't anything that impressive, it still gave like a little bit of backstory to the characters that had not been there before. And I'm like, this is actually a decent episode. Like this is probably the best episode of the series, so it was a good way to end it. But then they bring in the 12th episode, which is like the first half is just her wanting to draw like Elf and the other like older light novelist girl, like drawing them playing Twister in bikinis. And frankly, I don't even remember what happened in the second half at all. I just, I was like, I just didn't care. It was all just this stupid nonsense fan service episode that. This is apparently like one of the best, if not the best-selling anime of this season or something.
Dude,
Like,
Komodo Friends was one last season, so I mean, like, we can't really judge by that.
I don't know. I get why this anime got popular because it's riding on the coattails of Oreimo, which I still stand by as I think being a great anime. But
is this anime actually more popular than Oreimo? Because I feel like
no, there's no way in hell it is. I will check this, but it can't be. Like,
let's riot if it is.
No, it's not. You're right. But
all this,
I was gonna say
I was gonna be actually mad if this got more popular.
Well, here's the thing at that is like, I don't know how many people remember Oreimo all that well. It's been a while, so I was like, I felt like I was wondering if this just got popular because there were so many like internet memes going around from this show.
I mean, that probably was part of it.
One of the aspects, probably.
all this anti-Eromanga stuff is making me interested in Eromanga.
It's just take my like almost inability to know what the hell to actually say about the anime as fuck.
This is the first time I heard you swear on a podcast. Eromanga's brought Misty to swearing.
I've seen the anime. I know there are things that I like and dislike about the anime. I have no idea like what to actually say. This anime just sort of came and went and was just sort of whatever.
It was that weird drug trip you had that you had it and you remember some things you did, but you don't remember everything that happened, and it don't make sense.
All I know is it gave me another Claris song to have in my weeb playlist, and I am happy for that.
I thought you were gonna say it gave you cancer, but I guess we already all have that.
I mean,
They're
maybe
both the same thing.
That possibly was a thing too.
Alright, Boku no
Okay,
Hero.
let's move on. We don't need to.
Yeah.
We don't need to give.
You guys talk about
Please.
this.
My boy.
Boku no Hero,
shit.
Academia.
Is anybody gonna get a tournament arc?
Dude. Okay, one at a time, guys. Alright, Nick, you wanna
Tournament
start?
arc.
And then we have that out of the way. Fuck. Dude, I wanted you to watch this
Alright.
forever. Fucking Nick. Alright then, how was the fight against how was Deku versus Todoroki to you?
Oh my
It was
God.
awesome. It was
Oh
fab.
my god.
You know what? I thank God every day this show got picked up by Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Like-
know, dude.
Here's the thing, and what I want to say about My Hero Academia, this might just be applied to My Hero Academia in general, is I love this show, and I think a lot of other people love it for the same reason, is like, there's problems, like, the writing isn't always top-notch in the show, like, that fight Uraraka and Bakugo, where the fucking shit's in the air, and the one guy's, like, shitting on Bakugo for not taking use on Uraraka, it's like, he can see all the shit in the air, he can see her plan. Like, he doesn't see this from the audience, like, the camera perspective.
Yeah.
But it has its problems and it has its faults. But like the thing with that is it does so well of making me not care about those. Like like all the shonen tries to do that thing where it makes you so pumped up that you just want to get up and cheer. But there are very few that actually succeed in doing it to the degree that My Hero Academia does. Like that is one of the things I will always give it.
The part that you brought up about Deku and Todoroki is that, like, in a lot of fights, you kind of see, you know, especially in shonen, where, like, a character's like, oh yeah, you can do this, you can do whatever, you just have to believe. But, you know, Todoroki, he's gone through all kinds of stuff, and, like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it does take him a while to actually get past some of those things, and that I can relate with, because, you know, you can't realistically get over a problem just by someone talking to you about it.
Oh, dude, I
Like,
would spoil
what?
the shit out of it.
Yeah, I know.
I definitely feel like I understand what you're saying about that. I definitely understand what you're saying that about confronting your issues is much more of a realized experience than is like someone saying a dozen times like, no, it's like they might say that it's okay to be this or that, or it's like people make mistakes, but it's like society. You don't fully understand it until you experience it and start questioning it or really thinking about it. Which I love the theme for this second season as the theme of victory, because like it isn't always about the theme of victory. It isn't always about beating up the bad guy and saving the day. It's like Todoroki with his family situation. I love how it takes that way, because it's like it's more of a mental victory than slash
it's not
emotional
like-
victory than is like the first season was good. Yeah, I love the first season. It was nice, but it was very much a physical victory. Although there was some emotional victory as well, but the ending is. I feel like this second season with the turn mark, especially, it's very much proving yourself and reaching towards your goal, which ties in with the idea that victory isn't necessarily. It's not necessarily winning against some. It's not necessarily physically winning. It can be it can be anything. It's not. It doesn't have to be physical.
Yeah, like for example, May when she's like she loses to Ida, but only because she's just there to sell her gadgets. I fucking love
awesome.
May.
She's awesome.
So yeah, forgive me for this really long monologue I'm about to go on, but yeah, I do understand like a lot of the problems people have with this arc, even just specifically, like the first part, the race wasn't really that interesting. Deku just kind of picks up a piece of rubble and then somehow wins with it. Or even just like some of the fights aren't really that strategic.
I just love that sequence though, like where he wins with it, but like how well they animate it. I love that.
It is very
Sorry.
The whole show is just hype. It's a master of the hype.
And I do get like people are kind of tired of tournament arcs because it's just a like lazy way shonen is used to get characters to fight each other. But
are there really that many tournament arcs though these days?
Yeah.
Nothing beats Yu Yu Hakusho's Dark Tournament.
Okay, maybe it's just the older running ones or something.
But yeah, I do feel like that is not giving enough credit to what it does well. Like this whole arc was getting Deku to realize that he's got to this point because of the effort he's done. Because in the first part, he kept saying how, oh yeah, this isn't because of me. This is because of the people around me, and all the support they've given me. And Todoroki's arc was also just like coming to accept that the fire power is his power, and that part where Deku goes, "It's yours, right?" That part just brings me to tears every time. It is legit one of my
Or
favorite.
the or like not as much bringing you to tears as that part, but like even before the fight, like when he's talking to Endeavor, and he's like, "I'm not All Might, and Todoroki is not you."
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like it's an incredible moment just because of how much it means to everyone. In like those two, Todoroki like finally comes to understand that he can be his own person. Deku finally understands that, yeah, it's because of the effort he's put into this. It's and also just the kind of hero he wants to become. Like it goes against the kind of philosophy All Might has, of like not showing any kind of weakness. That is how you become like the top hero. To Deku, that isn't the kind of hero he wants to be. It's like he wants to show people that he's struggling. Like that whole fight, he is fucking beating himself up. At that point, his bones are fucking dead. But that is how he came across to Todoroki. That is the kind of number one hero he wants to be, and that is like basically proven by the kind of superhero name he has. Oh yeah, you haven't seen that episode, right? Fuck. So I'll just say it now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that last episode. I'm sorry, I didn't see the name. But
It's not that important, but it feels like to me it is. The superhero name he picks for now is Deku, which is so the origin of that name, as you know, it was like
Yeah.
Bakugo's way of insulting him, but then
It's like small or nut or something. I
yeah,
think
something
it's
like
supposed to
that.
mean.
But Deku like kept the name because Ochako was like, this sounds like Deku for like Dekiru, which is like you can do it, and that is
Yeah.
the kind of hero he wants to be, to take what seems to be just like something weak and like show that can be strength too, that can inspire people too, and that is what I love this show. It's the kind of shonen I feel has a lot of heart, and that is what like it's essential really to me. It's the kind this kind of thing
Yeah.
comes across to people. It's like it's great. They're like and I do feel like there are parts that are problematic. Like if you cut out like 50% of the monologues, the show would be way better. I don't need Todoroki telling me that he's gonna go to see his mom so that he can become a better person. I understand that just by seeing it. But yeah, it's just
But you have a hard time hating this show for its
Yes.
faults. Like
Yeah.
it's so hard to hate on My Hero Academia for any of its faults because you just love it so much.
yeah,
My boy.
Yeah.
it has
Oh,
so
no.
much heart to it.
I love I love the way it's handling its characters, like you said with Deku. Like I love how it's handling the characters. It's like everyone's starting to realize what kind of person I want to be. It's not just building themselves as heroes. It's what kind of hero do you want to build yourself up to be? And they're all going on their personal paths and their personal struggles. And I feel like, which I would disagree with the monologue. With all the monologues, I like how as it shows him it shows him thinking, as particularly in Todoroki's case, it shows that he's really thinking about it.
Yeah,
He's
I
not.
guess.
It's not just. He doesn't show up at mom's house when he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see my mom and show up at his mom's house. He thinks about it, and I feel like the tournament arc setup helps a lot with the characters realizing that, hey, I wanna be me. What is it I wanna do? I feel like it helps a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention. So the fight against Todoroki, the episode was titled Todoroki Shoto Origin, in the same way the first episode was called Midoriya Izuku Origin, as in the episode he started to become a hero. In the same way, that kind of parallels what is basically the fight against Todoroki. Deku makes him into a hero, in the same way All Might made him into a hero.
That's adorable.
That is incredibly adorable.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love this show, and it's only gonna get better from now on.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think we've basically said everything we need to say about My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Everybody ready to move on to Attack on Titan season 2?
Yes.
I'm tired. Let's go.
Okay. Who wants to start us off?
I'll do that.
Okay.
I feel like this season was really good. It was a lot better than the last season because the first season was essentially establishing that the world of Attack on Titan is harsh, and in order to win, you sacrifice is necessary, whatever it takes to get it done. And the enemy won't always be some convenient giant. It might. People are very much the same enemy, even if they're not the armored or colossal titan. And I love how the second season has how all that has been impacting characters and their relationships, as you see Connie spazzing out with his whole village situation. And it's like, and the characters are they're I'd say they're developing. They're developing. Some more than others, certainly, but they're actually developing. They're developing more. And Eren,
Yes.
thank God I'd say he's improved because he uses his head more. He uses his head more. Also, loved the ending. I loved the ending.
Here's one thing I want to say, and this might just be because I didn't watch Attack on Titan for a long time. I watched it during the winter, or during like right before this season started. I watched Attack on Titan the first season, but I think being able to compare them both side by side really well, I think that Wit Studio did a really great job of recapturing the feel of the first season. It's been so long that we kind of take that for granted with a lot of sequels, because a lot of anime sequels, like My Hero Academia, come out, but like that came out like a year after the original. So it's not as big of a deal. But for Attack on Titan, it's been, 4 years or something?
Yeah.
And I think they did a really great job of keeping that feel of the original and then building on it by telling the stories of the other Cadet Corps 104 members, instead of just keeping it with, like with Eren and all them. I think part of it that I was a little bit I already knew what was going to happen, so I kind of had a hard time getting through the season because I read the manga, so I already knew the Armored Colossal Titan. I already knew Amir, like her story. I already knew all of that. So I had a little bit of a hard time watching it, but I still loved watching the animation sort of like kick off right where they left off. And I can't wait for season 3 to do it again.
Oh yeah, season 3. I say from here on out, Attack on Titan's going to improve because now it's more tackling vague enemies. Now it's like the enemy is changing. The enemy is the world. It's literally the world. Anyone who's not you or your allies is an enemy, and then with the Survey Corps, that's a small group, very select group.
So
I think from here out, it's gonna improve.
So the director of the first season, Tetsuo Araki, didn't direct the second season. He just kind of did the sound stuff, and that's something at first I was like, I'm not gonna like the show just because of that, but I really appreciate it now, because the guy can't handle subtle moments, like that scene where Reiner and Bertolt are talking to Eren and just like telling him, come with us. That scene to me was so fucking great, just because of how like
That's awesome.
it felt really silly. Like they were just like, mate, come on, let's go. Do you want to come with us? And
Let's go, dude.
Aaron's just like, what the fuck are you saying, man? It's like,
that part in the manga is really, really scary because of the frames. Like, see, I've read the manga before season 2, which I kind of wish I didn't because it kind of reflects how I thought of the second season. But I think Ymir's whole realization part and Mikasa's, I guess, confessing some of her thoughts to Eren were some of the best parts that I liked that were animated.
Mm-hmm. Right. And to me, if Araki directed this show, it would have never turned out this good. Because you just can't do these kind of moments.
Yeah, I definitely loved all the little character moments. I loved all the little character moments. Especially Reiner and Bertolt one. It's like it shows just how broken everyone really is. This season showed just how broken everyone really is.
And I've read the manga too, but I guess my opinion differs from you too, because I really hate that part. Like, after they kidnap Eren and Ymir, they just kind of talk, and that part in the manga is the most boring fucking thing ever.
It's not great.
And but the way the anime did it, like they made Reiner out to be this moy ass motherfucker who's just like, oh yeah, I should go out with Krista. I was like, oh my god, this is not the time right now. I love Reiner so much.
I love how just like every time he does that too, like I know they brought it up in the show, but I just loved watching Bertholdt's face just drop.
Yeah,
because he just knew.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit, Reiner, not right now.
Yeah, it definitely feel like I feel like anime as a medium. I feel like it can add more emotion. It adds more excitement, or it adds more emotion to a manga. Is just still images. Anime is moving images. I feel like that adds to interest. It adds to interest a lot, because then it's not, you're not from panel to another. You're seeing their face change and their voice change and.
And also, one thing I feel that not enough people notice is that when Reiner and Belto like started becoming Titans, like the transformation at the wall, when the lightning came, it went over their faces, and the lightning that covered their faces, you could see sketches of their Titan faces. It was such a neat little detail. I was like, oh shit, more people need to notice this.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah,
I did not notice that.
I'll show you. I'll send the picture later. But yeah, it's a really neat little detail. And like, yeah, see, it's something no one fucking noticed, but they put in the effort for it. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing but good things to say about Attack on Titan season 2.
Surprisingly.
It really nailed the mystery, the horror mystery aspect down a lot, because it's not so much about Eren and Titans now, it's about the larger world. And while they never touch on anything, it's like they more expose, they're exposing the inner workings to some degree. Like, okay, these are your enemies, and
Yeah.
and these are the enemies you'll be facing.
Yeah,
I can't wait till they expose it more. I just can't wait till they get to.
Oh yeah.
I do agree with Ghost that the way it like makes the world seem way bigger than it did in the first season is great. Like, what were basically what seemed to be the two main bosses in the first season, the Colossal and the Armored Titan, are basically just little bitches who kind of work for an organization you don't know about. It's like, holy shit, it's a nice twist.
Oh yes. Yeah, and the music is fantastic.
I'm just gonna say this. I can't wait till they get to the basement and they get to like the Beast Titan. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Season 3, bring it on.
That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome. I think Attack on Titan is at its finest when it's dealing with the harsh realities of the world, of its world. I think that's when Attack on Titan's at its finest. Because then it's like, then you see the characters act. Because the thing is, they are only so powerful. Even Mikasa and Levi, they're only so powerful. So you can only do so much. So you have to make a choice. And in Attack on Titan, you either make a choice or you don't get to make one. Because that Titan just snapped your mom in half, and she's a potato chip right now.
What? That was an interesting analogy.
Man, I love Willis's analogies. They're like the weirdest shit ever.
Yeah, I don't know where he gets them.
I don't know either.
Anyways, guys, does anybody have anything else to say about Attack on Titan season 2, or I think that might be it for us.
It's good.
I'm dead.
Okay, well let's go through the list. Everybody, what's your top 3 of the season? Starting with you, AK.
Oh, mine. Boku no Hero Academia season 2. Anini Tsukeru Kusuri Wanai, and Kenka Banchou Otome Girl Beats Boys.
Willis?
Little Witch Academia is first, just because it's new, it's fresh, and it's exciting. It's all over the place. One minute you got Gurren Lagann, Tingatober Gurren Lagann, and then you see a larger variety. So that's my overall favorite. then I'd say My Hero Academia, but my second favorite. That's because the way all the fields training, the massive fields training, it's perfect execution. And then Attack on Titan, just because the way it shows the world off.
I think I'm going to be a little bit basic here, but I have pretty much the same 3 favorites as Willis, except I'm going to switch My Hero Academia and Little Witch. My Hero Academia is my number 1, and it will, no matter what season it's in, My Hero Academia will almost always be my number 1 show, followed by Little Witch, then Attack on Titan.
Okay. So my favorite is Boku no Hero Academia, Little Witch, and Girl Beast Boys.
Oh, shit.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hipster and be the most different of us all. I'm gonna say Tsukegekure is my number 1.
Nice.
We didn't talk about it because I didn't feel like I was not caught up enough, and no one else here has started watching it. But Recreators would probably be my number 2 so far, and then Sakura Quest at 3rd. All right, but yeah, wow. Just under 3 hours. Holy goodness. Alright. Well, hopefully for those of you who are stuck out with us until the end, although probably a lot of you just, skipped around and clicked the little,
I see you.
timestamps or whatever, but that's fine. Whatever. You're here. You love us, hopefully. If not, tell us why in the comments. Tell us why we're all shitbags for saying that SukaSuka is Garbo, or, why we don't understand that Eromanga-sensei is the new savior of anime or something. Go ahead.
The lewd savior. It's gotta be lewd now.
No.
Alright. But I guess we will call it a day. This has been another Anime Alliance seasonal podcast. Thank you for joining us all, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
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 And thanks. Bye.